Mm-hmm.
Oh, and here's a guy that apparently kills people on an island.
I hear Tell Walter was on with Frank and Martin yesterday.
I heard some of that. Yeah.
And he attacked my golf game.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
I don't know if we can pull that audio. Yeah, I heard.
Well, he's got some nerve.
Thank you very much. So we'll get to the bottom of that. Plus, we have Lisa Ann on in the 9 o'clock hour. I got to figure out what's going on with Lana Rhodes falling into Tampa Bay. And she took a shot at Mia Khalifa, which really pleased Iggy. And then also who her value play is for DraftKings this week. We do have the TMA DraftKings game. We have filled it up every week, 300 entries, and we've filled it up every week. Doug, let's keep the streak going. It's at the top of the fan page. Just click that link. Up to 5 teams per person can enter. It's $10 a team. First place wins $300, and we already have 142 of the 300 spots filled. So ship that. Lisa Ann will give you pro tips on that coming up. That's at 9:15. Then the Hot Shots email today. Matt, who bowls at Hanks, is your leader. He has a nice lead of 1 in the October Email of the Day competition. Don't forget that Rake Vodka is the official vodka of the Ryan Kelly Morning After. So if you're going to pony up here at Kirkwood Brewhouse this weekend at the patio and have yourself a taste on these beautiful weekends in October, make sure you have a Rake Vodka. Skal, cheers in Icelandic, Doug.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I hear it about every day. I don't really yell. In Minnesota, they say Skol Vikings.
I know Janie the lesbian
but we're saying
says,
Skal?
Maybe it's Skull. I should text her, but she doesn't answer my text anymore now that I'm a baby.
Okay.
Telling you there's something there. I'm just telling you there is.
She's disappointed in you?
I think now it's like, oh, they really are breeders. You know? Because we bred.
Right.
She thought I might be for them. She was hoping Anna Marie was for them. And instead we bred.
Well, I thought she had just fallen in love with this Viking queen.
That's right.
Okay. Well, maybe that's where her attention's going. And not everyone in the world is thinking about you all the time.
I don't understand.
And that's a bizarre concept.
Hey, St. Louis, Eddie McVeigh here from Maggie O'Brien's. I'm wondering, where is everyone watching the Super Bowl? Forget those house parties. You have to clean, cook, serve, then clean up again. Let Maggie O'Brien's do the work for you. We got the wings, the beers, and the burgers, so all you have to do is show up. So let's do the Super Bowl together at Maggie O'Brien's. 2 locations, in Sunset Hills on South Lindbergh or downtown at the corner of Market and 20th Street. Union Station is next to us.
You got to be on acid to understand what's going on this show.
The Ryan Kelly Morning After.
KPNT-FM, HD2.
Collinsville, St. Louis.
Iggy's Drops of the Week.
Freeze like a cryogenic lab. Hoo-hoo, yeah.
I would have studied up more on Vaseline had I known that would have been
I don't like how the rich people get preferential treatment.
Yeah, I saw a grandpa at Circus Flora. He was a listener, so he looked pretty cool.
a first segment conversation.
You masturbate with Hawaiian Tropic, bro?
What?
Sunscreen?
So vivid, and yet so refreshing.
It's oil.
It was a healthy dollop.
Who's Ned Reynolds?
Now, somebody at the member
Super
guest
happy for
was, he couldn't stop talking to me about Riley Reid.
Huh?
If they gave out an award to a member guest for best dressed, I'd have won that.
Walruses are encouraged to bring gentlemen lovers, preferably tops.
I'm good at what I do. Well, don't think.
So you were in the locker room. Did you shower with the fellas?
You've trained your prostate to milk itself.
You can even go against the grain and not nick the main vein.
Huh?
Would you rather have length or girth, Doug?
I don't think they're going just to visit Greg Norman and whatever he's packing. Jan.
She'd put her fingers in her dimples. Yeah. So there's that. No Hoosier would wear what I'm wearing.
Huh?
I can't do Tim's play-by-play. Tim is great at play-by-play on our matches. You can shut your trap. We have normal handicaps. Oh, digger.
We had our Westboro member guest, and I know that was a little more prestigious than what you just competed in.
What was that?
Can we get back to people riding Iggy's penis?
I don't know.
What in the world is that about?
Huh?
That was Iggy's Drops of the Week. The Morning After wants to send you on a 5-star luxury-included vacation to Sandals Ochi in Ocho Rios, Jamaica. With more than 100 acres of lush gardens overlooking the Caribbean Sea, this 2 resorts in one location let you be trendy when you want it, private when you don't. With more than 105 pools, 22 whirlpools, 16 specialty restaurants, including a zero-entry pool, the Caribbean's first speakeasy, complimentary golf at the Upton Golf Course nearby. You can have it all, and all of it in true 5-star style. Because at Sandals Resorts, love is all you need. Oh, yeah. Enter the keyword passport on the TMA app for a chance to win a 4-day, 3-night luxury-included vacation for two to any Sandals resort. And if Iggy and Plowsy can find a way to get a passport, you can go type in the damn word, okay? Including round-trip airfare from American Airlines with more than 40 island destinations. American is your airline to the Caribbean. Find out more at tmastl.com. Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPN-TFM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day. Rise and shine, St. Louis. It's the Ryan Kelly Morning After on KPN-TFM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. At the Morning After STL on YouTube and on TMASTL.com with Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Iggy Strode, The Plowboy, and Action Jackson.
7:07 in St. Louis. You are listening to the Ryan Kelly Morning After. It's the Michelob Ultra Studios, Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Alton Toyota, 7 o'clock hour. Timothy Michael McKernan, Douglas Elvin Vaughn, Kenneth Iggy Strode. If you're watching on YouTube, number one, you notice I'm a boy slut. Number two, you'll notice that Jackson is sitting on the ones and twos, but the Plowhawk is in the Horton Watkins studios.
Yeah, what's going on?
Here's what we got, Doug.
What?
And I'm going to address it right off the top. On Friday, I was wrapping up the award-winning balloon party.
Mm-hmm.
And it hit me. Did I say something when we were in the 101 ESPN studio, Jackson? Did I recall?
Right as the last
hate text came in?
Yeah, as the last one fired its way through. Yeah, you said something to me.
What do you mean we ain't the best fans? and so I mean I was like, wow, that's not normal. Had a meeting with a client at 11 o'clock. Had a sound story. And then I had to record some commercials. And as I was walking out, I said, Jackson, I hope you guys are feeling all right because something has hit me.
Little gurgly stomach?
Yes.
Oh.
But I felt awful. At approximately, Doug, would you say it was around 4:30?
I don't know what time it was.
I was on the vomit comet.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow, really?
Oh, yeah.
Brutal.
The vomit comet. And it's very rare. I don't know what your vomit comet experiences are. Text them in, 314-881-TMA5, Engineer Design Facilities text inbox, or you can call in to share them, or erotic stories, 636-9004-TMA. Steve Schmidt, Kia, North County phone lines. Or if you're just into rainbow showers, as they're called. It's kind of the opposite of scat play, but still is hot.
Could have come to my sink and just use that if you wanted to.
Yeah, if I would have been close, I would have loved to have joined in.
You have a designated slop sink?
That seems what everybody uses it for.
Oh.
And the way it's usually worked historically for me, and Doug, I don't know if you track your vomit comet experiences, but you'll usually wake up in the middle of the night and it hits you, and then you realize, oh, I'm about to go on the vomit comet. I was totally fine up until that last hate text on 101 ESPN. And holy crap. And then it took about 5.5 hours. So I was wondering if I was ill, if it was food poisoning. But as per usual, all I do up until around noon or 1 o'clock each day is I drink water and I have a protein shake. So it's not like I'd really eaten anything. So I went to bed at around 7:30 on Friday night. I woke up at 8 in the morning on Saturday, went to bed again at noon on Saturday, and slept until 4.
Oh.
So I don't know what the hell was going on. I'm fine now. But then at approximately, 6 o'clock this morning,
I don't know.
The Plowhawk sends a text. And the Plowhawk,
he's got it.
Yes. Plowhawk, are you able to turn on your mic from the Horton Watkins Studios, now known as the...
Can anyone hear me?
Yes,
he sounds
there is.
ghastly.
He does sound ghastly. I like that word. Tell me what your symptoms are at the moment.
Just a real sore throat, stuffed up, kind of that dry cough to where it's just my throat's really dry and
Do you feel like you're going to go on the vomit comet?
No, I'm just eating my berries, drinking some water, just trying to, get the natural sugars going. So
oily stool?
I took a dump this morning. It was all right.
Where did you go? Did you go to the one where you hit Casey, or did you go to the
Oh, yeah, I got here at like 4:40, so, yeah, I was able to have a nice little one-on-one sesh in the solo
world's your
room.
oyster at that point of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, don't you run into the guys from the Riz show?
They're potentially, yeah. I run into the Convy boys every now and then.
The Convies.
Pre-dump, usually not post-dump.
No.
So you're not worried you're going to go on the vomit comet, but you're feeling ill?
Definitely feeling it. Certainly didn't want to let the squad down, so I'm not going to call in since we only did, one show from the studio on Friday. And got back from a vacation, so not an ideal time to take a sick day. So
Right, I
powering
understand.
through.
So my thought was, since I didn't want Doug or Iggy to get exposed to what I had or what the Plowhawk had, if the Plowhawk has now what I had, that it would be best to have Jackson come in here and the Plowhawk sitting there. So that is the reasoning. But you guys all feel wonderful, Jackson, Doug, and Iggy, correct?
Sure.
Well,
Yeah.
How I always feel.
What does that mean?
Well, normal for me.
Then how's that? Like on a scale of 1 to 10.
8.
Yeah,
All right, there you go.
that's not bad.
Yeah.
No. I don't know. Maybe it's just, a lot of times first of all, we were on 4 different flights. So you get people who are throwing germs around. I had that guy next to me just kept sneezing right at me.
Oh, jeez.
But you got 4 different flights, and you go from cold to warm, back into cold. So a lot of times it just hits you.
Iggy nailed it. The cold to warm thing is the
you're
main
right.
factor.
Yeah, you're right. My God, when we left Lambert, and that hits you for the first time. And plus, it was like 15 degrees.
Yeah, it was a wind chill, like 0 when we got home.
So I don't know. I still don't know if I had food poisoning or if it was a virus.
Sounds like food poisoning to me. When you only have it for
Yeah.
half a day or
Never
day.
had a temperature. What is is a fever more virus or food poisoning? I don't know.
I would think virus.
I never had like a 98 degree Drew Lachey, Nick Lachey temperature. Thank you. So I don't know. Well, but the vomit comet.
Oh.
I haven't been on that vomit comet.
How many times did you blow groceries?
Just once.
Oh.
But I thought I was like I thought it was there was a pump fake, like a Steph Curry pump fake.
Yeah.
And the first time I went to go on the comet, I went so hard, kind of like Tori Wells and the way she used to go so deep.
What?
That I actually saw stars. I truly saw stars. And I thought to myself, okay, this is probably going to happen. I need to, when it happens, I need to try to control the comet because otherwise I'm going to like asphyxiate myself, which I'm used to doing.
No.
But in this case, it's not going to be for pleasure. Unless somebody's sitting under me.
What?
And that's up to them. Annie Sprinkle, I think, was the one who was into that. Somebody can look that up.
I don't get it.
Yeah, she was in
You got it. I didn't.
Well, she was a superstar back in the day.
There are a lot of texts, people not happy with the show, loaded up from the weekend.
Oh.
Do people just... Now we're at a point where over the weekend people send in anger. What do we got going on?
Damien.
That's what it sounded like at my home on Friday.
Mm.
And I was worried that because we all ate at the same place on Tuesday, but I was thinking that would, at that point on Friday.
Yeah, that'd be a delayed
Yeah,
reaction.
that wouldn't be food poisoning.
I didn't eat there Tuesday.
Iggy did not.
Oh.
And then at this point for the Plowhawk, that wouldn't be food poisoning. So I don't know what the hell's going on.
I suppose you only need one little bit of bacteria on anything you eat or drink, and it could cause it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like every year when I come back from the AVNs, I knew I was going to get sick. You know, you're around a bunch of people.
You were around the dregs of the earth there.
Well, that's true, too. There weren't dregs at Sandals, but I always thought I got it from the plane, but never know.
Plow, did you feel bad yesterday?
No, that's what I'm kind of concerned. It just started when I woke up, so I was,
He sounds ghastly.
maybe I don't know, man. I don't feel great. I'm not going to sugarcoat it,
No, I
but
wouldn't. Well, you're hanging in there, though, Lou Gehrig.
well, I wouldn't go that far. But I appreciate it, Dougie.
All right.
Oh, Gary came out of the game.
Excuse me?
What?
Gary Coleman?
Gary came out of the game. He didn't play through it. He came out.
Wow.
Gave Wally Pipp a shot.
He had like half a season when he was playing while he had ALS.
I guess I am better. I don't know. I saw Bill Russell has a documentary out there on
Sit here and
Netflix.
slam the Iron Horse? Lou Gehrig doesn't get a pass?
I'm kidding, Doug.
Let's see. Just don't press push. I'm not familiar with this texter. Are you familiar with this one, Jackson?
Yeah, he pops up.
Problematic?
Eh,
Not on your Mount Rushmore?
Who isn't?
not really on my radar.
How do you guys respond? This was sent in at 6:59 a.m., so just don't press push really wanted this to be read.
All right.
How do you guys respond to criticism of the Listener of the Month voting process? I didn't know that there was criticism of the Listener of the Month voting process. How can I respond to it?
Is that in a big news story?
Who's upset? All the people that didn't win.
Is it simply East Coast bias? More pretentiousness than the MLB writers for the Baseball Hall of Fame? One brave voter admitted to not seeing the nominees before the votes were cast and contentiously abstained. And for that, this listener applauds. How can you, as the selection committee, look into the eyes of young, up-and-coming listeners and deny their dreams, while at the same time in the lab pounding the earbuds, putting in the listening reps, hoping for just one chance as a 16 seed? Thanks, I'll hang up and listen. That's from Just Don't Press Push. Doug, what was that about?
He's upset that Beer Cats won Listener of the Month, I guess.
The Milagro Tequila Listener of the Month, but you can sign up for it, tmastl.com, and become the February Listener of the Month.
Then what do you win again if you win that?
Jackson?
Milagro prize pack and a TMA swag item.
And then you're eligible to become the Listener of the Year at the end of the year awards, which this year will be at Powell Symphony Hall.
Yep. Yeah, we might need a bigger venue than that, but that's nice.
So it's just the 11 monthly winners or 12 monthly winners go up against each other for the winner of the year?
I guess. I don't know. It's not really.
Yeah, I didn't
be honest about the whole thing.
Like any of the nominees, so I just didn't vote.
Well, who would you like as a nominee?
Well, none of the ones I saw.
Are there any ones that would cut it for you?
Well, I'm not gonna just vote for anybody. Well, I guess I got to vote for somebody. No, you just don't vote. I abstained.
What if we all would have abstained?
Yeah, that would be a
Well,
problem.
then we get the prize back.
Is that how it works?
Well, then why don't we do that?
Then I would understand the listeners' questioning the process. I would abstain.
I already got my Milagro sweatshirt.
It'd be like this trip to the Sandals Resort. If we don't, I guess if we just keep it in house, one of us can go.
Yeah, how many people have registered for it? It's well into the thousands.
Over 3,600.
Oh my God!
Yeah, because you can enter it in every single day, so people are just firing it up.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I got a lot of questions about that over the weekend. I was
Oh,
like,
did
yeah.
you?
And
Were you
they
getting
like-
DMs?
people were like, "Can you really win a trip?" I was like, "Yeah, all you have to do is
You
sign
think
up."
we're lying about it?
People were just surprised.
They ask you to pull some strings for them?
Yeah, have you been offered holes?
No holes have been offered, and nor would I take any holes. You know, this is
when are we giving that
integrity is
away?
the key.
Doug?
When are we giving it away? Was that the question?
Yeah, how much longer do they have to register?
I don't know.
Contest ends on February 12th.
There you go.
Another week.
Get in where you fit in, fools. I was a Mac up at the high school. You can go to tmastl.com to register, or go on the TMASTL app, and the code you need to enter is Passport. And then you get a 4-day, 3-night luxury vacation to the sandals of your choice. Doesn't have to be Ocho Rios.
Yeah, they got Grenada, Antigua, a lot of great locations. Barbados.
They got like 23, don't they?
All right.
I think that's what the big boss told us last week.
And they have another one in Jamaica, Negril, I believe.
That's got to be the best prize we've ever given away on this show, right? By far.
Top 5.
Mount Rushmore of prizes.
What do you got against Florida, Missouri tickets?
Well, the game had already been played, I think.
Nathan from the east side of Alton's not happy with the show.
Goodness.
I mean, is he on the Mount Rushmore?
No, because he's too funny, but I have a feeling this one's going to be a barb.
You turds have been doing the same show for 20 years, and all weekend on TMA, all the 4 shows from this week played over and over and over again. Hit the shuffle button, Atkins, and mix in some new content on TMA all day. That's Nathan from the east side of Alton. Plowhawk's not going to be in the mood for this today.
I'm here, and I'm ready to address it whenever you guys are ready.
Go ahead.
All right, perfect. You guys settled in, strapped in?
Yeah.
Everybody got their seatbelts on? Okay, cool. So it's the exact same thing we do on every weekend. We play the shows throughout the week that have played. Now, Wednesday, Thursday, we had 0 shows play. So I played Monday, Tuesday from when we were in Jamaica, Friday when we were back in studio. I mean, that's the best I can do. I peppered in some best ofs there. So yes, a segment played once, and then 10 hours later it played again. I don't know really what else you want me to say. It's a tough spot. I had to automate for 2.5 weeks. It's a difficult position to put me into. Again, we ran through this during Christmas break. You don't want to run over and just bulldoze your entire best of catalog, so listeners don't have to hear a Sinbad episode. So it is what it is. I'll continue to do that. I would do it again. There's just I don't have much to do when we have Wednesday, Thursday off, and I had to automate before we left. Anybody understand that?
Oh,
Nathan from the east side of Alton, the action is back on you. You can call.
I mean, I had to do 2.5 weeks of 24-hour best ofs up until that point. It's tough to, time it out and get all these creative segment that this one douchebag listener wants. I mean, send me a personal email and let me know what segment you want to play, and I'll play it. But I can't read everybody's mind, so.
Did you say the hoes are laughing?
Yeah.
So the audience are a bunch of hoes.
They're a bunch of something, I'll tell you that. Ain't in it. Bring it on, boys.
Well, I mean, we didn't lie. It's called TMA all day, and you got TMA.
There you go, Doug.
You're turning on your radio at 2 a.m. to listen to TMA all day. I got a whole bucket list of questions to ask you, one of which is not, how'd you like the segment?
What did the question
Wow, looks loaded for bear today.
Oh, I'm ready, dude. This is just,
Yeah.
I'm not even done with the monologue yet.
I love Plowsy, and I agree with Plowsy. I mean, we all want you to listen to the station as much as you can, but I mean, if you're listening to us all weekend, I mean, get a life.
Thank you, Iggy. See, Pepper and Ginny and back.
Maybe they're just in the car from time to time, and every time they turn it on, they hear the same thing.
No, and I get it. Like, I understand, like, not having Wednesday and Thursday to replay. I mean, that's 3 hours. That's 3 segments. That's 3 hours. That's 6 hours. I mean, that's 6 hours that I have to fill with the Monday, Tuesday, Friday program. So I get it's a little different than, what you're typically used to. But again, this wasn't the typical 2 weeks that we've had,
You can't just go back and play a random 3-hour show from 2012.
I mean, I could, but that would be horrible. Right? Like,
all this is horrible.
Well, yeah, Doug, my point is, like, the best ofs are edited so all of old libraries, old station IDs, all that taken out. I can't just, I could easily pull up a random segment we did like a month or 2 ago, but again, like, how will I know that segment is evergreen? What if we're talking about the Cardinals getting bounced? Which is pretty common, but
there it is.
Shots at everyone.
Or we talk about drinks, 2-star recruit. That recruit probably has already transferred, so I don't know how relevant any of this is.
Don't we have a folder that has all of the old shows edited?
Yeah, we have. We have 500 some best ofs in the folder. Yeah, but again, like we can't use for 2 weeks. That's 24 hours times 14. I mean, do the math on that. I can't. That would be all of our best of hours. And so what am I going to play tomorrow? Something that just played 2 days ago? Like, I'm doing this for the betterment of my job for the next 6 months, as opposed to a listener wanting to listen to something fresh at 2 a.m. I don't know really what you want me to say.
So are you happy with the listeners who question this?
I love them. I love the listeners, but I'm not in the mood. And, criticizing somebody's job when they have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, it's a little tough to navigate on a day such as this.
Such as this.
Don't say a day such as this. That can be the title of the segment, Jackson. A day such as this.
Well, I'm doing show note today, so I'll put that in the title right now.
Monday, February 6th, 2023, hour 1, a day such as this. Welcome to a day such as this, and it is a beautiful day. You get some work in today. That short game area. That's where you might find me. Oh, the Hawks going to be up this afternoon. I see, but 58 degrees. Design Air Heating and Cooling for when it gets cooler again. The sponsor of our email today, the official HVAC provider, the Ryan Kelly Morning After. Seth Goldcamp and his staff will take great care of you. But I'm telling you.
What?
We're starting to get to the point where you can go in a month. I know March can kind of use its hand on you a little bit.
What?
But you start talking about March, and you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, can't you?
Yeah, you can.
I always say, if we can get through February, March you could have some cold days, but you have some days almost hitting 70 in March, and
all of a sudden,
then we're right around the Masters, and then
how do you do?
And the Fan Page Club Championship.
Amen. Now, the official HVAC provider of the Ryan Kelly Morning After and the Tim McKernan Show podcast. It is Design Air Heating and Cooling online at designairservice.com. Work with Seth Goldcamp and his incredible staff by clicking on the Book Now tab for Design Air Heating and Cooling. Designairservice.com, the official HVAC provider of the Ryan Kelly Morning After and the Tim McKernan Show podcast. James Carlton is my insurance agent. I'd like to recommend him to our audience and everybody in the whole wide world. 314-961-4800. Go online and type his name in a Google search, and you'll see 303 5-star reviews for James Carlton. He presents the Colonel, Gabriel P. DeArman, and Gabe will be with us at 9 o'clock. Jackson is in a deep depression over what took place at the Hump on Saturday, Doug. That was Missouri losing to Mississippi State. James Carlton, 314-961-4800. Go online at carltoninsurance.net. Work with the best when it comes to customer service, and that's James Carlton. That's why I made the switch. And when you make the switch, they do all the paperwork for you. You will see all of the reasons why people love working with them when you go to Google and type in the name 303 5-star reviews for James Carlton and his staff at the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, 314-961-4800. Go online at carltoninsurance.net. Wow, they're not happy in the engineer design facilities text inbox.
Why?
Let's see what we got here. And I mean, they're really not. Nathan from the east side of Alton has responded.
What did he say?
I apologize for asking you to do something inside your minimal job requirements. Stop complaining, you dork.
This is the same dude that's 7:30 in the morning and he's bashing somebody he's never met before on an HD2 radio show. Like, I'm very comfortable with just knowing that I am a way better person than he is. And also, I did my work. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean I didn't do it. It means you're a douche. Like that. There's two different sides of it. I did work. I didn't think about, Nate from the east side of Alton didn't want to hear Friday's show.
Yeah.
I give no, I can't say I've thought a half second of this dude in my life. No. So, like, I did my job. Just because you aren't happy and want to complain about it doesn't defeat the purpose that I did what I was supposed to do. Now, with Tommy and John Kiowski, if they want to complain, then I am definitely going to take initiative in changing that. But Nate from the east side of Alton has not and will never write me a check, and I don't give a crap about him. So, I did the job. If you don't like it, cry to somebody else.
Now, what I would do, if Tommy would let me, and John would let me, it would kill 4 hours of the weekend.
It's like Beavis.
I would come in here on a Saturday and Sunday and just play tunes.
Play tunes?
We could do a music
100% for this.
You're gonna spin records?
Iggy's best of. I mean, I'll just play my favorite songs for a couple hours on Saturday and a couple hours on Sunday.
Well, that would defeat the purpose of this being all day.
It's still TMA. It'd just be a little different.
No, that's not TMA. That's you spinning records.
It's still TMA.
It wouldn't be.
I could tell a story here or there, but...
You're a gentleman who enjoys a dry rub once in a while?
Yeah, but just play music.
I don't even know what that means. What does it even mean?
Dry rub? I guess it's like a rub down with no oil.
Yes.
Now we're dealing with counsel, Doug. All of a sudden, a law firm has reached out to us. Good morning. If you guys are fielding questions, can you please advise as to when my client might receive the prize pack winnings for the email of the month in January for the Golf Expo that concluded yesterday at 4 p.m.? Thanks. That's from Jaguars Counsel. So,
you didn't get the tickets?
So that's a problem.
I'll answer that for Jackson.
I knew I forgot something last week.
Oh, no.
We're at a crisis level now.
What are we going to? Well, since when do we mail things out?
We don't have stamps. We've never had stamps.
They pick them up here.
He would have, but I didn't. That was on me because when we left Jamaica, I was like, oh, did I forget something to do something? And that was it. Because at that point, I'm not going to email someone on Friday afternoon, hey, you got to be here by 5 to pick up the tickets for this thing this weekend. That's on me. I'll take that on the
Doesn't Jaguar live in Nashville?
I don't know
Doug, where does Jaguar?
I have no idea.
I don't know where any of our listeners live, but that one's on me.
All right, Nate from the east side of Alton. How about it, bud?
What's that?
Plowsy is in no mood for criticism on a day such as this.
That's correct.
Well, I just come pick them up. You won? Come pick them up.
No, but
we forgot to even put them.
I gotta let the people know. That's on me.
Guys, while you're looking up where the Golf Expo tickets are, I'll take my Cardinal tickets from the 2022 season as well. That's from Big Ol' Fan.
No. Now you're going to have to be more specific. I don't remember that.
He didn't win Cardinal tickets.
There is no way Boots will do extra work. Historically, this is a fact. That comes from Starfish, dude.
Well, I would come in on Saturday and Sunday and do a music show.
Lil Beer Cat's coming after Iggy, just like his father.
Oh, no.
No one wants a best of the same stories that have been changed and fabricated 1,000 times. Sorry, not sorry, Iggy. That's from Lil Beer Cats.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of like your dad's story.
Shout out Hot Wife Autumn.
This is generational hate now.
The little kid's 18 years old. Why are you listening to the show anyway?
Doug, we're trying to scold people for listening to our program.
I think he's of age. You think you should have to be?
Yeah, but he was
18
coming to our
listen this?
TMA events when he was 14.
Yeah.
What do you know about custard stands?
There's probably a lot to learn about running a decent custard stand that we don't even know about.
There's one in Springfield called Iggy's.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you go there?
That's why I had to get Iggy 1 plates, because that dude's got Iggy.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's a good custard.
Did you ask him did you ask if you could buy them from him?
No, I'm fine with Iggy 1.
Yeah.
You paid extra for that, though, didn't you? Vanity plates?
Yeah, I really don't know why I got them.
It's a good way to spend your money.
Well, they were kind of cool at first, but now I can't fake anybody. I mean, if I flip somebody off on the highway and they see Iggy 1, it's
Yeah.
like,
How often do you do that, though?
not often, but if I do. I did one time, and I got a DM. You flipped me off on the highway, buddy. I listen to the show every day. Yeah,
Really? You flip somebody off on the highway and they DM'd you?
Yeah. They saw the Iggy 1s. I can't hide. Yeah, I agree with you. How's that, Beer Cats? Little Beer Cats, whatever your name is.
Dan Mullen's funeral via dump truck tickets. Can I get those now? Is Jackson getting a $10.99 from a hot dog stand shell corporation this year? It's from Carlos Spicy Wiener, and he's going to the Hall of Fame.
Will never get any 1099s from any shell corporations, tube, meat, or otherwise. The Florida Mizzou tickets were an overstay on my part again, too.
Good morning. Little Beer Cats can go down on my wife. Thanks. That's from the recovering alcoholic from Belleville and Westbrook. And Doug, they're just so active this morning.
All talk. I'll talk with him.
Little Beer Cats are recovering alcoholic.
Recovering alcoholic.
We don't know for sure that he's 18, right?
Little Beer Cats is, yeah.
He is? We have confirmed
I mean,
we better be sure about that before we start reading comments like that.
His dad told me. So if he's not, his dad lied. Because I said, you got your 15-year-old
Your Honor,
kid.
it's on his dad.
I said, you got your 15-year-old kid texting. He goes, he's 18. So he's the one that said he's 18.
Plowboy, keep on doing you. Screw these losers that turn on reruns at 1:40 a.m. on Saturday morning after they spent 12 hours playing Minecraft. Just put the Open on a 72-hour straight loop. That's from the Warson Woods Wacko. There you go.
What up, Wacko? I knew I had a friend.
You feeling any better?
I mean, I'm getting randy.
That's nice.
Really?
How would you like if we just did our show from 7 to 10 and then it was dead air until the next morning?
That'd be no good.
You're getting something.
I wouldn't have much of a job. So
No, if you're pissed about what we play, would you rather just have dead air for 21 hours?
Is that what you did to do math? You went,
Subtract 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Birthday Hawk, Iggy, would you please show someone that DM of the person you flipped off?
Well, it was like 8 years ago. I don't think I still have it.
Birthday
Maybe
hockey
7
doesn't
years
have
ago.
it.
I don't know.
You don't flip people off very often, do you?
No, I don't.
Once a month?
I don't get mad on the highway.
Stephen Wildwood says, I received a snap from Beer Cats and Hot Wife Autumn as she was performing what I would describe as a slutty dance.
Oh.
Nice rack, and please let Iggy DJ on Saturday. That's from Stephen Wildwood.
Oh.
Where are you DJing?
Here. He wants to DJ here.
Oh, I see.
You'd have to learn the board.
Yeah, I'll bring a board up in.
Oh, no one's going to volunteer to do that.
Now that's going to just hurt your chances of doing it because then they have to pay somebody to
I
do
would
it.
learn the board if I could do that. And then it would, it would help me if, I could ever fill in for Learn or on a show that, Iggy, we need somebody to come in this afternoon. I know the board. I'll come in.
But you don't know the board.
No, I don't.
But you'd be willing to learn it.
For my, if I could do a show on weekends here playing music, I would. Or maybe I do the show with my friend Jen Williams, who is doing Keishi for the next few months.
She's on Keishi now?
Yeah, for the next couple months. And I bet she'd be willing to come in on weekends and
just to run the board for your show.
No, and be part of my show.
Give up her Saturdays.
She loves being on the air. She loves music. She loves being a DJ. I bet she'd come in.
Iggy, can you have KG run the board for you since he's an employee now? That's from the Birthday Hawk.
Good idea.
That's actually an idea.
No, it's not an idea.
It is definitely an idea. Whether it's a good one or not, that's up for debate.
I'm sure Tommy's going to pay him to come in and run the board for me. I mean, he's not on salary. He only gets paid when he comes in.
Shot at hourly employees out of nowhere.
It's not a shot. That's just true.
But you'd be willing to give up your weekends for this?
Yeah, it's only a couple hours. I mean, I wouldn't want to go up against you, man's classic show on Sunday. Not that people are going to tune him out to listen to my crap, but
would we need some sort of musical license to play all these songs?
I wouldn't just play classic rock. I'd play Miley Cyrus, Flowers.
Los Lonely.
Wouldn't play that.
Tell me what you see.
Yeah, it'd be a collection of all kinds of music.
Well, what are the chances that this happens?
Well, I'll probably run it by Tommy, and he'll say, "Get out."
Get out. You walk by his office, suggest
Tommy, I got
this.
an idea. Get out.
Get out. All right.
He would never say that, but
Doug Ryan Kelly would never say get out, would he? He's online at
No.
thehomeloanexpert.com.
Ryan Kelly says, come in. He doesn't
Yeah,
say, get
that's
out.
what he says.
Come in. I've come in twice and had my mortgage refinanced with Ryan Kelly. Couldn't be happier. Smart move. High interest rates are a little scary right now. The home loan expert can take care of that. Their interest rate rewind program can make your rate 2 full points lower for the first year and a full point lower for the second year. When rates go back down, the home loan expert can refi with 0 fees to keep your payment low. Is living paycheck to paycheck starting to wear you down? Are you stressed out when it comes to paying the bills? Many Americans are getting financial relief with a simple cash-out refi. How much cash can you get with the home loan expert? Finally pay off those credit cards, get a few months ahead on bills, and have extra cash in the bank. That sounds pretty nice, doesn't it? The home loan expert's 10-day closing guarantee can make all of this a reality. If you have any questions, ready to get pre-approved, learn more today, go to thehomeloanexpert.com. Let Ryan Kelly and his fabulous staff take you through the whole process. You'll be happy that you did. Remember, you just date the rate, but you marry the house. That's the Home Loan Expert. Thank you so much, Ryan Kelly. Thank you, Sir Mortgage.
Thehomeloanexpert.com. And a wonderful Valentine's Day gift is Sound Story. Go online at mysoundstory.com, and you can get it taken care of right now. Wrap up your shopping in a matter of, I would say about 60 seconds with a gift certificate for Sound Story for your significant other, or come in and tell your story of your relationship online at mysoundstory.com, whether it be with me, with Doug, with Jackson, with Learn, with John Hewlett, with Randy Character, with Riz, with Moon, with Courtney Landrum. Anybody you want at mysoundstory.com, you can have do your sound story, whether it be via Zoom. Doug, you're doing one via Zoom today, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Or in studio, and I'm doing one in studio today. It's mysoundstory.com. Get the gift certificate and then book at the convenience of your significant other. mysoundstory.com, a perfect gift for Valentine's Day. No one, and I mean no one, is looking to spend their weekend listening to 3 hours of deep tracks from bands like The Cure and Big Head Todd. That's from Hedonism Chuck.
well, then don't listen.
There you go. Hedonism Chuck.
I mean, it's pretty simple. I don't want to listen to that. You don't listen. No, clearer I can make it.
What hopes do the listeners have of actually listening to this show?
Probably zero.
Oh.
I'm just throwing out an idea.
That's not a good chance.
I mean, we have a license to play music.
Nice.
So if I just come in and pull stuff off of Spotify and put my playlist together, I could even voice track it. Wouldn't even have to come in.
Classic rock.
Look at that.
I play a lot of classic rock.
You've always kind of wanted to be a DJ, didn't you?
I did.
On Casey.
Yeah. Well, have you given up on that dream?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, John Hewlett's about the same age as me.
So there's other stations, other time slots.
No, I guess too old.
Too old.
Oh, no, Doug, we're watching a dream die.
I mean, I could have filled in.
Pick yourself up by the bootstraps, man.
I could have filled in a couple months ago, and I said no.
Yeah. Do you regret that?
I do a little bit.
And the reason you said no was what now?
Well, I was on vacation.
Oh. But you were at home.
But I didn't have to get up at 5:30. That's my vacation, is that I don't have to get up early.
Right.
I don't usually go anywhere, but I can sleep.
All right. Well, maybe that chance will come around again someday.
Yeah, if it does, I'll say yes.
Will you?
Wow, these questions are tough.
What about that?
Really. I got a couple of recommendations real quick.
Oh, Doug,
For
this
what?
is our recommendation segment.
Not
In
really
a day such as this, segment one.
Not really recommendations.
These are anti-recommendations,
They
things
are
not
kinda.
to do.
They are kind of. I finished up Park and Rec. I'd never seen it before. Basically, I watched it for Aubrey Plaza.
Tom Hank, Park and Rec.
Park and Rec is a Tom Hanks.
But it's a fabulous show. Loved it. Finished that up, and then I started knocking out documentaries.
Knocking them out. A real
I
accomplishment.
crushed this milkshake.
To sit there on the couch and watch TV.
Yeah. Pamela, boring. Madoff, unless you don't know what happened to Bernie Madoff, it's boring.
Doug, these are all anti-recommendations.
Okay.
And then I watched the Grammys. Boring. So a boring-ass weekend.
Well, these are your recommendations.
Well, I'm just they're
these are things not to watch.
non-recommendations.
Okay.
Now, if you don't,
I have watched all of them.
Have you?
I watched a portion of the Grammys, the tribute to hip hop, which I didn't realize was 50 years old, and I kind of questioned the birth date, kind of like Danny Almonte. I don't understand.
Well, the whole show is hip hop, pretty much.
Up until Bonnie Raitt.
Yeah.
Oh. Now, what was that sigh for?
There's 10 artists up for Album of the Year. Bonnie Raitt. And I agreed with her. She got this. She goes, "This is shocking. I didn't expect this." And nobody did.
Well, don't get mad at her.
Bonnie Raitt is taking some heat on a day such as this.
I like to talk to Jesse. Willie Nelson won Country Album of the Year.
It's like they give it to who they want to win.
Shot at the AVNs.
Yeah, I tried to watch a little of it, and they try to be more outrageous than the person before. Even Shania Twain showed up in shocking orange hair. Give me a break.
Yeah, and all she did was the whole time they showed her dancing around. She's giving standing ovations to people I guarantee she's never even heard of.
And at this point, Taylor Swift and Beyonce can just fart into a mic for 20 minutes, call it an album, and win 10 Grammys.
Sure. Damn.
It's not even about
Shout out
music
Beyonce.
anymore. It's strictly about what your name is.
And you are going to get hit by the beehive today.
Now, if you're a Taylor Swift fan, come at me hard, bud. You got some problems.
Well, I will tell you, Beyonce's Renaissance album is pretty good. I've heard 3 songs on it, and they're fabulous. So,
Jesus.
Taylor Swift, I'll agree with you there.
This may be the only show in America where 2 minimum wage weenies whose salaries depend on people listening and supporting the sponsors tell listeners to not listen to the show. It's from Nathan from the east side of Alton. He's not done, Doug.
No. Don't call my guys weenies.
Weenies.
Nate's crestfallen. It's fine.
Well, I guess, when you're working in fast food, you're going to get a ton of business. You don't have to worry about, we didn't sell enough burgers this week, so
So you think Nathan's in fast food?
What was that noise?
I don't know what he does.
It's a good business if you own the joint.
Yeah, he might be a franchise guy.
He owns nothing.
Oh.
He's living in the boot heel.
No Queen Bee slander will be tolerated, B. That's from Manchild.
Look, she's gorgeous and she's talented, but I'm just saying, I don't think people really care about what music she comes out with anymore. You just slap a 5-star, 3-star, Michelin star restaurant style and have a day. I mean, they can do whatever. Taylor Swift can go to any genre she wants and come out with a crap album and then have, billions of downloads.
I just don't think people give a crap about the Grammys.
Agreed.
It's the most subjective art form ever, and you're going to give an award for it?
Yeah, and having 5 segments of the fans talking about their favorite album. Stop.
Yeah, that's enough of that.
And then bringing them up on stage to give away an award. And I like Lilo or Lilo. What's
Doug,
her name?
Lululemon.
Lizzo?
Lizzo. I like Lizzo.
You were circling the target.
I forgot her name. She's the best. Oh, Harry Styles is my guy.
No, they didn't go,
Didn't he win Album of the Year?
I think she did.
Didn't Harry Styles win Album of the
Yeah,
Year?
and then the girl who...
But Bonnie Raitt won Song of the Year.
And then one of the fans who was gaga over him when Noah brought him up on stage. Oh, you read the winner. It's Harry! Oh, my God.
Yeah, you'd had enough at that point.
What's the difference between Record of the Year and Song of the Year?
Doug?
It confused me every
I
year.
think Record of the Year goes to the producer.
But Lizzo won Record of the Year.
But I think our producer gets it.
Okay.
Even though she took it. Her speech was great. I liked her speech.
Okay.
There you go. And I wasn't happy with the... I was looking forward to the Christine McVie tribute, and I would have gotten somebody other than Sheryl Crow and Bonnie Raitt up there.
Bonnie Raitt takes more shrapnel this morning on a day such as this.
The poor gal.
I mean, Gaga, Alicia Keys.
I saw Sam Smith in a dress.
Well, that's what he always wears. He wears like fur coats and gowns.
Mm-hmm. It's just not for me.
Rugged.
And then I guess she's transgendered, who won the Grammy with Sam Smith. But when they sang the song, she had like one line. I like it. That was it.
Isn't that the chorus?
You got a Grammy for that?
Yeah.
She sang one word.
Someone needs to put wrinkled thigh meat down. We're listening to a stroke happen live on the air. That's in the Dogtown Astro.
It's not a stroke. I'm just giving you my opinion on the Grammys.
Jack is home.
And Pamela, was that the name of it? Pamela and Madoff.
Pamela Love Story.
Pamela Love Story. I watched that. I've seen Madoff as well. Plowhawk, you saw Madoff, right?
Yeah, I saw Pamela was the most boring thing ever, so I turned that off about halfway. But Madoff I was interested in because I didn't know much about the insides of it, so I liked it.
Yeah, I knew about it, but I don't recall the detail. I didn't know how it all came to pass. God, it's brutal. Whoa.
You really feel for the people that just swindled out of their whole life savings.
And I didn't realize, and I can't recall what the name of that term was that they used, that the people who did quote-unquote profit, for lack of a better term, that the government came back to collect from them. And many of those people were not wealthy people living on Palm Beach. They were just people who had their life savings with them.
Yeah,
and they had to give that back? Oh, my God.
Yeah, that was new. I didn't know that.
Because they did collect $14 billion.
And what did Madoff do with all the money?
It was just a Ponzi scheme.
Well, I know, but there was money there somewhere. What did he do with it all?
Well, they never owned any assets. It's just the money would go in and then the money would go out until he ran out of money after the 2008 collapse.
Well, so what did he do with that money that went out?
He spent it. He's got 3 homes, a yacht. He spent on all that stuff.
Well, what he showed was ridiculous return on investment. You know, the market, I think, performed at a 9% rate, and there was a guy, his biggest guy, who they believe was involved in it, had a 900% return on investment. Oh, yeah. So when Madoff would start to run short on cash to fund the Ponzi, he would say, hey, you need you to put some more in. And then the belief was that this guy knew. But then this guy, right when he was about to go and either go to trial or be subpoenaed, he was found at the bottom of his pool in Palm Beach.
Oh.
So
once he was finding barons and going overseas, you knew that was over.
Once what?
Once he started going overseas and, recruiting, the wealthiest of the wealthy in England, and you kind of knew that it was over.
Oh, yeah, that I can't recall what her name was. And they kept putting graphics up that she knew nothing about it at the end of episode 3 and 4. I would imagine that either her or her estate were threatening defamation litigation. Because that was the one that kept popping up over and over
Never
again.
Did arrest
but it's
her.
brutal. I knew one of his children committed suicide. But then the other one passed from cancer after kind of having a reconciliation with Ruth Madoff, Bernie's widow. So it's just,
And the same thing's happening again with this Sam, what's his name? Sam
Friedman?
Bankman-Fried, whatever it is, with the crypto.
Yeah.
Did the same thing.
Yeah, they said it'll happen again.
Yeah,
and the worst part about it, I think the part that it's not as titillating, although it was focused on in the final episode of it, and I would recommend it, but you got to kind of pack a lunch for it. It's a painful watch, really. If anything, is that there were watchdogs who called it to the attention of the SEC, and the SEC just ignored it. That was the most gut-wrenching point, and that the Ponzi scheme was only still $3 to $7 billion, an S-load of money, but I think it eventually got to $64 billion. So the damage that could have been prevented if they would have paid attention to it.
Oh.
So, ooh.
Boy, that guy,
can you imagine that?
And that guy blasted the SEC at the congressional hearing. He pointed out all the red flags. He sent them for 5 years, and they just ignored everything.
Doug, is this Harry Markopoulos? Do you know Harry Markopoulos?
I don't know Harry.
Called Madoff out for years before he was actually caught. He says it took him 5 minutes to know that Madoff was a fraud. That's from Hedonism Chuck.
Yeah, we saw the documentary.
So you're upset with this text?
No, obviously, if we saw the documentary, we know that happened.
Well, I didn't.
And I just mentioned that he tried to call him out 5 different times.
Okay. We just put a name to the guy.
Over an 8-year span.
He never invested the money. He spent it on boats, homes, new offices, etc. This is why you never want to work with someone that takes custody of your assets. That's from Josh Bob Bill.
Well, that's a lot of homes to get up to $64 billion, was it? How many you could buy 64 homes all over the place and still have money left over?
Tim, it's called a clawback. That's the term, clawback.
A clawback?
Yeah, clawback.
And the sad thing is if...
the clawback. So you're just innocent and all of a sudden you get hit.
The sad thing, if you didn't have that stock market crash in 2008, he still wouldn't have been caught. He only got caught because everybody wanted their money out and he didn't have it. But nobody was taking their money out. And when somebody would say, I want to cash out, he had the money for that. But when everybody wanted their money out, he knew he was dead. He said, they got me now. But if there wouldn't have been a problem in 2008, he'd probably still be going.
Because the guy who was getting the 900% return on investment was funding it.
Didn't the owner of the Mets get hit real hard?
Wilpon got hit, yeah.
I think Kevin Bacon got hit. They didn't name all the celebrities, but there were quite a... Spielberg got hit.
Ernie Bjorkman.
Bjorkman.
He's doing it, right?
And then this poor couple that put all their money into it, and they made a little bit, and they took it away from him.
The clawback.
Yeah. Oh, you made money off him. You got to give that money back.
There's another alleged scheme currently being exposed in India. The guy behind it was the second richest man in the world at one point. It's hard to believe this stuff still goes on at this scale, but it does. That's from Hedonism, Chuck.
You know what my favorite little stat is, Doug?
No.
$1 million. It's like the difference between $1 million and $1 billion. Yeah. 1 million seconds is 11 days, and 1 billion seconds is 31 years. Oh. So, like, when you get the difference between $1 million and $1 billion.
Nicely done, Jackson. Doug, that gives us proper context.
It sure does.
Like, that's just a crazy difference.
Nifty little stat.
That is a nifty
Or
stat.
Ernie Bjorkman's doing it.
There he is.
Sure is. Yeah, see, he was caught up in it.
He was caught up in it. Guys, Iggy bringing up the Grammys is just a way to bring up Lady Gaga not winning. That's from the weightlifting podcaster trying to get inside of your head, Iggy.
She get shut out?
I don't know. It wasn't something that was given away on the show.
Was she nominated?
Probably one of the 90 awards they gave away before the show.
How do you guys think Orson Woods Wacko afforded a home in Orson Woods? That's from Mr. Lex. Sounds like he is implicating him in a Ponzi scheme.
Well, could happen. You trust people? You see people making money? You want to be a part of it? Greed sets in.
I think the Orson Woods Wacko is going to have to respond to this. I mean, is he handling people's money?
Well, that I don't know. He's on the right side of Manchester, though.
That's correct.
That is,
the north side of Manchester.
Would you give your money to someone from the south side of Manchester?
No, but north side, sure.
What I don't understand is that he was. I guess you just try to make as much as you can, but I mean, he was a multi-millionaire just being good at what he did. Could have lived very happily the rest of his life and had money for his kids, and still had his home in Palm Beach. But God, just to go to that extent to make more money when you already had a nice life.
Greed.
I just told you the difference between $1 million and $1 billion.
Right there, Jackson said it.
Difference.
Well, that's seconds. I mean, he didn't have $1 million. He had like 30 million, 40 million. He had money.
The one thing most rich people want is more. They got to have more.
I guess you got a penthouse on Fifth Avenue. You got a house in France. You got a house in Palm Beach.
France, does that count as Europe?
I think so.
30 to 40 million takes care of you and your kids and their kids. $1 billion takes care of everybody.
But he only
generational wealth.
He only had 2 kids. How many grandkids you gonna have?
4 kids.
Those
takes care of everybody.
Those guys weren't even married.
Well, who wasn't married?
They ended up being married, but they weren't married at the time they were working for him.
Sounds like Iggy lost it all to Madoff. That's from TJ. I'm sorry. Were you involved in Madoff?
You have some money with it?
Yeah, I called Bernie and said, hey, I got my 401k. I got $480 to play with. What can you do with it, buddy?
And he wiped you out.
He wiped me out.
Just like Keegan Bradley missing a 2-footer.
Hey, put the phone down. I don't care about that guy in Europe. Iggy's got $480.
You probably felt the lottery was your only hope.
We're going to take him.
Caller Ellen says we all want just a little bit more than what we have. Doug, that's Caller Ellen giving us perspective here on a day such as this.
Yeah, no matter how much money you make, you think, if I had just a little more, I'd be happy.
I get that, Ellen. But would you go to the point of breaking the law and a chance to go to jail for 150 years for a little more than the 40 million you already have?
It's crazy looking back on it.
It's tough to be like a billionaire without sacrificing your morality once or twice.
Yeah, but he wasn't a billionaire when he started it. But I mean, the money he had, he was probably the biggest guy on Wall Street before any of this happened. He was the guy you went to make trades, and he was making millions and millions a year. I need more. I'm going to have a Ponzi scheme. I just don't get it.
The Madoff affair reminds me of that scheme in which people invested all of their interests in a golf video that never really existed. That's from Newt Bowl eligible.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
a lot of people pumped a lot of their money into that.
It's done, right? Am I correct? I saw it. I witnessed the video.
Yeah, just some fine-tuning, and it should be out this week, I would guess.
Wow, Doug. The golf video is going to be out this week.
I mean, I would think.
Fabulous.
It's done. All he had to do is put some graphics and fine-tuning.
So it's not done. Either it's done or it's not done.
I said it should be done this week. The rough cut is done.
Butter me up, Daddy.
You saw the rough cut. It's pretty good.
Wouldn't a rough cut, wouldn't that be good enough for our audience?
Yeah, he could put it out how it is.
Yeah.
And it'd be fine. But we're perfectionists here.
I don't know about that.
This show screamed perfectionism.
Well, Joey is. Not so much me.
Guys, rumor has it Madoff started his scheming by keeping autographed books, 360 machines, and Golf Expo tickets that weren't his, and it just kind of escalated from there. Thanks. That's from an emotionally exhausted caller Ellen call.
I'd say a good percentage of our audience is emotionally exhausted. Yeah, I think that's right. Well, so you had a big weekend of watching TV, though. So you got that going.
Pretty much all I did. I went Saturday. I got up early and took a shower. I went shopping by like 9 o'clock.
Where'd you go shopping?
Schnucks.
Okay. I was in Schnucks last week and passed a guy.
Got that
Passed
out
a
of the
guy.
way.
He's got his headphones in. He says, "Oh, I'm podcasting the show right now."
How about
That's pretty
that?
cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I said,
I
I'm
get
so
that all the
sorry.
time.
I always apologize. I am so sorry.
Mr. Licks wants to know who won the Golf Expo tickets from the app. Who won those? I think it's Jaguar.
Well, they didn't get him, whoever it was.
Well, we gave away some for email of the day. We only had 2 winners last week for email of the day: Buck Swope and Jaguar. App contest I cannot speak to.
This golf video better look like Spielberg did it. Thanks. That's from Flip Wilson. Doug Flip Wilson is expecting some kind of Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg-esque production.
Yeah, come on, get him.
He's throwing
Now
golf
throwing
tickets
it
at the
on
YouTube
board,
camera.
Now knobs are being turned.
There's no way that could have turned a knob.
Oh, it turned a knob, baby.
213 friends of the Feather are watching. YouTube.com/TMASTL. YouTube.com/TMASTL is where you can watch the show. Download the app and enter to win the prize of 4 days, 3 nights at the Sandals Resort of your choice in the Caribbean. How about that? All you got to do is enter the passcode PASSPORT, and you are entered to win. And you can go up until this Sunday.
Biggest prize we've ever given away
I am
on this
telling
show.
you. So
And
buy a
airfare
bunch, it's
included,
free.
too.
Airfare's included, is that right?
Yeah.
Nice. So go and enjoy beautiful weather. The weather we had down there was perfect. My God, 80 degrees.
Sure
And if you
was.
go to the Sandals, Ocho Rios, Plowhawk and I would like to officially recommend soy.
Mm-hmm. And the hibachi place next to it was good, too.
good
I
as
enjoyed
well.
it, yeah. Doug and I had breakfast there on the last day. And
Oh,
it
did you
was-
really?
Yeah.
They have a hibachi breakfast?
No, not the hibachi place, but the breakfast bar. And Doug and I were just sitting out there at 75 degrees with a nice ocean breeze. It was about the best feeling ever. And
Yeah,
of course, I was with Doug, so I was already kind of, a little bit.
Did you go to the omelet bar?
Omelet was taken. The scrambled eggs were good enough for me.
They had a big, long buffet with all kinds of selections. And in one tray, it had a little sign. They had a sign under it, what all the food is. The sign on one of them was boiled food. And I didn't quite know what it was. I thought the sign was too generic. This is boiled food.
Doug and I got
I never figured it out. I should have tried it. I should have taken some.
Yeah.
What did the boiled food look like?
It almost looked like a fish fillet or something.
Yeah, it reminded me of if you were watching the Missouri Tiger this week when they put Isaiah Mosley up and it said height 0, weight 0, sophomore, and then hometown was city, state. So clearly someone in the graphic department forgot to insert something.
Right.
And that's what it reminded me of, boiled food.
It was probably good. Everything else was good. I just wish I'd tasted some now, looking back.
Still a great night.
Boiled food.
Guys, the Madoff scheme is reminiscent of when listeners of this show were slapped with a last-minute hidden fee for Iggy's caddy to sit in the cart without any expression for an afternoon of golf.
Oh, yeah.
That's from 2020 fan page club champion Aunt Peg.
The stone-faced gal with the icy demeanor.
You knew where your money was going. We didn't try to finagle anything out of it. You want a tipper? If you don't, you don't have to.
Just for sitting there scowling?
I still blame Jay. Jay said we got to get her some money. I said, no. I'm giving her 20.
You gave her 20 just for sitting in the golf cart?
Well, she caddied.
She was my caddy.
If anybody should have paid, it would be you.
I did, but then Jay said we got to make her some more money, so we put a tip jar up in the clubhouse.
That's a pretty lucrative gig if you
And
can
people
just sit
started
for 4
throwing money at
hours.
her.
They gave her money just because it was a girl.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. You should pay just to see her. And they did.
Did you know that, that obviously you're trying to do that?
Good question.
Great question. You had all 9 innings. At the end of the game, you came up with that one.
He was just so excited he couldn't.
Yeah, it's like
stand
9 innings to watch the game. And good win tonight. How does it feel? Jesus.
I'd like to tell you this. You go to Andrea's, and it's going to feel real nice like
Yeah.
Jack. Andrea's Steakhouse. Iggy, you have been there. And what is your dish of choice?
I had the ribeye.
Oh, Bill.
Size of my head.
How do you do? And this month, now available at both Schnucks and Deerberg's, Andrea's barbecue sauce is coming out for the month of February, in addition to that signature and famous steak sauce. How do you do? It's their first new product in 40 years. Andrea's is affordable wine list with a wide variety of options, and it is phenomenal. The owner, Max, listens to the show, and he's making his wife pay for the advertising costs, and that is called now a financial cuck. Come as you are or as you aren't. Hoodies, hats, gray sweatpants, and tennis shoes are discouraged, but they'll still serve you. Bring your wife, your wife's friend, your aunt, your sister, your daughter, or your mom. Bring the guy in to pay the tab. You can check out the menu at andreas.com/menu, and they'll be hosting a Kentucky Derby social on May 6th featuring Bourbon and Blondes podcasters. On-site cigar rolling, lit cigars lounge will be setting up for purchase and smoking. Live entertainment, free play, and heavy buffet appetizers, best dress contest, 50-50 drawing, additional race day games, photo booth. It's $150 per person. You can join their mailing list for special events at andreas.com. It's Andreas. Check it out and enjoy the festivities. I got to get over there.
That sounds like fun, actually.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun.
Guys can dress to the nines. Ladies can wear their hats.
If we come walking in there dressed up, Doug, can you imagine what the ladies would do?
Oh, God. Just start squealing, probably.
We should become
like
a horse
the Beatles
show.
have arrived.
We should
Like what Francesa did.
Yeah, we should pool our money up and buy a horse.
Guys, I've heard the new Ponzi schemes are geared towards starting a hot dog stand and charging people a fee to use a putting green in charity golf tournaments. Thanks. That's from Big Saggers. Let's see. There was a message sent out to all the golfers the night before that it was suggested everybody leave $20 for Iggy's caddy. That's from Fuelsy.
Is that
really?
What message? What app would send out this, like an Amber Alert?
Please give her $20. She's not doing anything for you, but you owe her $20.
I didn't send it out.
Was it like an email?
I think it was just if you want to tip her, tip her.
But why would you if she's just sitting there?
Well, it's not my fault. She caddied for me. I gave her money. If everybody else gave her money, that's their problem.
Does every woman on a golf course get tipped by the other people there?
She was the only girl there. I mean, that's why they tipped her.
It just seems odd to me.
I don't know what to tell you.
Wildly entertaining stuff, guys.
How much money did she make that day?
I think she wound up making $300.
Yeah, I think so.
Really? Gosh.
Yeah.
She probably wants to do that every day. Just go sit on a stone-faced in a golf cart on a golf course, and people come by and give her money.
Well, she wasn't stone-faced. She was smiling, talking to people all day.
Was she upset by something? Would that explain the icy demeanor?
Well, I think I just told her she wasn't. I don't know who came up with the stone-faced thing.
It seems to be the look that she had.
I think you did.
Well, I didn't. I wasn't there.
You weren't. Yeah, well, quit saying she's stone-faced. You weren't even there.
Well, that's what everyone's saying.
Well,
Guys,
you started it.
My advertising money for the golf video probably would have done better with Bernie Madoff. Thanks, Steve Wildwood. Not happy.
No, we all saw the rough cut, and your company is right there at the bottom throughout the whole thing.
Oh, nice. That's right. KG in O-Town says, I got an employee-only sneak peek of the video, and it's heat.
Employee only. Yeah. Boy, it's nice to have him as an employee.
Doug Crestfall.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, absolutely. Head down. Can't take it anymore, crestfallen.
Well, you got 2 days' pay, and now you can just wait around for something else.
Well,
I'm about to get paid in the Escalade.
Okay, Frank.
Guys, what's the play on tipping someone who brings groceries out for a drive-up pickup? That's from Butch Barebottom.
Seems like a $5 situation.
Yeah, they drive it to your house or just outside the store?
If it's outside the store, it depends on how many bags. I don't know. I go into the grocery store and buy my provisions.
Don't say
I like that. I like that provisions
It
a
sounds
lot.
like you're about to die.
Like it's
You're just trying to survive.
Like 1800s.
My provisions.
Within the icebox.
Yeah, I think $5 is good.
Yeah. If someone's bringing out like a whole load a week of groceries for you and putting it in your car, it seems like a
5 or 6 bags?
5 spot. Yeah.
No, they come out with a cart and then just take them out of the cart and put them in your car.
You actually have that done? You don't go
No,
in
I
the
go
grocery
in.
store?
I just said I go in and buy my own provisions.
Provisions. That's right.
I love shopping. Now, during the pandemic, I used Instacart. But I love shopping.
You love grocery shopping?
I do. I love any kind of shopping. Sometimes I just go to the mall and walk around.
Yeah. Good people watching there.
Well, if I see something in the final last act, I go get it.
It's got to be last act. That's at Macy's.
Don't have to. A lot of good finds.
Mr. Licks, who says he is in touch with the SEC, says the SEC is about to investigate Jackson for the failed app giveaways. Let me list them off. Golf Expo, Dinner with the Deus, Golf with the Deus, and much more. Mr. Licks.
First of all, untrue. Let me break this down. Golf, we know the person. We say we're going to play this when it gets warm again. So 1 for 1. Dinner, organizing that. Don't worry about that. It's none of your business. You didn't win. So why
Where's
would
this dinner going to be?
Why would I be like, oh, this person won? Let me inform Mr. Licks of how the planning is going. Like, what kind of sense does that make? The Golf Expo wasn't an app contest. I was for email today, and I've admitted I dropped the ball on that.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's perfect. I messed up. I apologize. It's on me. And then many more is like something you say when you don't have anything else. So I disagree. I love Mr. Licks, but I disagree with your premise. And so,
And I'm pretty sure
go back to the drawing board. Try again.
I'm pretty sure the guy who won lives in Nashville. He wasn't going anyway.
To what?
Expo.
Oh, is that right?
I don't know where the listeners live. I want to.
I think I know who he is.
Who is this guy?
I just know he lives in Nashville.
How do you know that?
God,
well, don't get upset. Crestfallen again over that?
I am tired.
Well, I said I know who he is, so I know where he lives.
How do you know him? Oh, crestfallen.
From the show.
All right.
The 25 handicap dumbs and fats salivated over just getting to see this girl ride in a cart wearing athleisure and scrolling Instagram all day, when at the end of the thing, the only guy who shared more than 5 words with her was that D-bag who used to call in to brag about his embellished hookups with lot lizards. That's from Carlos Spicy Waiter. He's going into the Hall of Fame.
Who's that?
Doug, who used to call in about hooking up with women at truck stops.
Lot lizards.
Who is that?
Who's bragging about that?
I don't know.
That's my question.
It wasn't Iggy. He's not talking about Iggy, is he?
No, I don't call in. I just talk about lot lizards on the air. But who got to spend more than 5 minutes with her?
Have you ever
Besides
met
me?
a lot lizard?
I don't even know what that is.
I think isn't that a woman who hangs around truck stops?
Oh, God.
I never met a girl from a truck stop.
But off.
I'm not sure I've ever been to a truck stop.
You've never been to a truck stop?
I don't think I have.
Oh, they're great.
You haven't stopped for gas along the highway sometime and see all the trucks there?
Not at a truck stop.
Huh.
It's like a little oasis and nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe when I go to
Sometimes they'll have a Wendy's
that place on the way to the Ozarks. The Diamonds?
Yeah.
Is that a truck stop with the restaurant?
In Kingdom City?
Yeah.
Diamonds was close to Six Flags, I thought. Right, Doug?
Yeah, it's out
no
that
longer
way.
with us.
No, that's just a
Was
restaurant.
that a truck stop?
It's just a restaurant, right?
We always stop someplace on our way to.
This was well before you were around, Jackson.
I started driving in 2014, so
right there at Highway 54.
I think it was gone in '94.
When you get off 70, like you go to Lake of the Ozarks, and you're going to go south on 54, there's a couple truck stops right there.
Yeah, but there was a restaurant we always went to there on our way to Kingdom City. Right outside Kingdom City, I think.
there's always a place to get fudge.
Fudgery?
And like, what do they call it? Like almond dishes or
Ooh, Bill, walnut bowls.
Walnut bowls.
For
that's
all
it.
your walnut bowl needs.
All your walnut bowl needs. Guys, the stone-faced gal did not have an icy demeanor. In fact, her personality was lukewarm. Thanks. That comes from, I like shopping. I used Instacart during COVID. Grocery shopping. And shut up about the golf video. It's finished. It's just not done.
That's a long-ass name.
Good one, though.
Doug, do you think we'll see the golf video? The audience will see the golf video this week.
Well, I guess I would say yes. If you're making a major motion picture in Hollywood, does it take 3 or 4 months to make that?
Well, way longer.
I don't know. It depends on the picture, I suppose.
Talking about like everything, including shooting?
Yeah.
Up to a year and a half, 2 years.
I mean, this
Who
wasn't.
won? I forgot.
This
Oh,
wasn't
he sounds
like,
ghastly.
This wasn't like my nine-ball chip-off that lasted like 45 seconds. This thing was over 30 minutes long that we saw.
Which was more like prestigious? Us beating Nagel or you?
Oh, us beating Nagel. I mean, I knew I was going to get 9 out of 10. That was a no-brainer.
Oh, gosh.
But I didn't think there was any way we beat Nagel.
I didn't either. And I think we play him again, and I don't think we do it. Now that I've seen the video, too, and I'm reminded of how many, 15-foot-plus putts had to go in.
I felt so bad yesterday. He's playing in Panama, going into the final round. He was in 15th place, 4 shots out of the lead, 1 shot out of 5th place. And he shot 9 over.
Yeah, he took a 9 on a par 4. I don't know what the hell happened, but Wellington's not caddying for him, so I wouldn't have texted Wellington about it anyway. You leave somebody alone when that happens.
Yeah, but a top 10 would have gone a long way.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what the hell happened. God, it's brutal. Woo.
I think he finished in front of 2 people.
Carlos Spicy Wiener sent in a definition of a lot lizard. Dougie says a lot lizard, Jeffco or St. Charles 6 or St. Louis metropolitan area 5 or less that was so desperate at the end of the night she'd go home with whatever guys she could find and speed date in the parking lot of Telania's during closing time before some pre-coitus slingers at Courtesy Diner next door. Carlos Spicy Wiener.
Pre-coitus?
Yeah, no chili before.
Maybe afterwards.
But... Telena's is right there at Hampton and 40.
No longer with us.
Was it the Cheshire, right? Or where the Cheshire sits?
No. Hampton and 40, I think.
Oh, never mind.
That's Lena's jukebox.
Yep. 40 and Hampton. Yasiel Puig and Hanley Ramirez, big fans.
And that was the place where people would go after the bars closed down, I think.
Yeah, I think it was open until 3.
And then when you get thrown out of there, they'd go to Steak and Shake or Courtesy Diner. My son was on that circuit for a while, that's how I know.
John Vaughn.
No, Greg Vaughn.
Greg Vaughn.
Greg Vaughn was on that circuit.
Friend of Jamaica.
Yes.
Good thing he brought his clubs.
Yeah. Yeah. They found him.
Got to use him a day.
Yeah. That was Southwest who did that to him, not American.
Someone check on Grandpa's CPAP. It sounds as if he's ready to take his last breath. Good luck on your journey to the other side, Grandpa Apricot. That's from B Money.
What kind of comment is that?
Is that saying that there's breathing? That's the first breathing complaint we've gotten. I didn't hear any. But then, Doug, we never hear it.
No.
I don't have a CPAP.
These
I do.
Here's the Plowhawk and the Hornblock.
Maybe they're talking about you.
Yeah, they could well be.
I doubt that.
Doug, you're gripping that CPAP hard on the way home.
I can't let it get out of my hand.
Yeah.
I got to take it to carry-on luggage because if I lose it, I owe them $17,000.
Sweet mother of mercy.
Jeez. Doug was in that Montego Bay airport charging his phone, eating his bird seed granola, and it was all over the ground. And what'd you say? It looked like a chicken coop.
The seeds were so small that someone didn't get my milk. I wound up on the floor, and by the time I left, it looked like I'd been standing in a chicken coop.
Eating that bird seed.
Yeah.
Good morning. Hollywood studios need to take a page out of the TMA playbook. Rather than big advertising budgets spent on billboards and trailers to market the release, just sit on the content for 6 months without any updates and let your senile producer bitch at anyone who asks about the movie. Books will be written about this marketing strategy. Doug, you can see the texter out there sending it in. He's in the parking lot. His name's Little Tommy Trivens.
Trivens, yeah.
Trivens. They've done that before.
Yeah. Well, you got to leave them wanting more. You shoot the film, and then people say, where is it? What happened to it? And that's your marketing.
Don't give us a Slurpee because they were trying hard.
Strauss would have loved this off-season.
What off-season?
He sounds ghastly.
He really does.
Speaking of which, I can't wait to discuss. This is a balloon party topic, but I think it's going to. I think it's going to get the people going, as Hove and Yeezy said. Was that 2011?
I don't know the years, Tim.
It was, Jackson?
Yeah, that sounds right. 8th grade.
The Athletic early this morning, about 4 in the morning, released the following. Doug, here it is.
Okay.
And so I know you love guessing games.
I do.
This is perfect for you.
All right.
The 2023 MLB Wild Card Era Franchise Rankings. So in other words, since the Wild Card Era began, do you know what year that was?
Wild Card? I don't know the years, Tim.
1995.
Okay.
It would have been 94, but they had the strike, so there you go.
Okay.
1995.
Right.
How would they rank the franchise's performances? We'll have that for you coming up next.
Okay.
We'll close out the Munganess St. Louis Acura, Alton Toyota, 7 o'clock hour, appliance discounters, 8 o'clock hour next from the Michelob Ultra Studios. This is the Ryan Kelly Morning After.
The Morning After wants to send you on a 5-star luxury-included vacation to Sandals, Ochi, and Ocho Rios, Jamaica, with more than 100 acres of lush gardens overlooking the Caribbean Sea. This 2 resorts in one location let you be trendy when you want it, private when you don't, with more than 105 pools, 22 whirlpools, 16 specialty restaurants, including a zero-entry pool, the Caribbean's first speakeasy, complimentary golf at the Upton Golf Course nearby. You can have it all, and all of it in true 5-star style, because at Sandals Resorts, love is all you need. Oh yeah. Enter the keyword passport on the TMA app for a chance to win a 4-day, 3-night luxury-included vacation for 2 to any Sandals resort. And if Iggy and Plowsy can find a way to get a passport, you can go type in the damn word, okay? Including round-trip airfare from American Airlines with more than 40 island destinations. American is your airline to the Caribbean. Find out more at TMASTL.com. Hey, TMA boys and ladies. Throw on some beads and celebrate Party Gras at the DB's Tents in Soulard, Saturday, February 18th. Party under the huge heated tent on the parade route in Soulard with a premium open bar, tons of private restrooms, and in and out access. Hello. Live music on the 360 Vodka stage from the Teenage Dirtbags, Mod Sun, and the Nitty Gritty Dirtbags. Giveaways on site courtesy of Johnny Brock's Dungeon Party Warehouse. Must be 21 or older. Tickets are on sale now. Get all the details and find the link to purchase your tickets for the Party Gras DB's Tent in Soulard at dbsportsbar.com. Brought to you by Jameson, High Noon, and Randall's Wines and Spirits. You're hearing TMA all day on KPNT HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis, featuring the Ryan Kelly Morning After, live from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Then a full show replay from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., followed by the best of TMA from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m., and another same-day replay starting at 10 p.m. Find the full schedule at TMASTL.com. Brought to you by Ryan Kelly at thehomeloanexpert.com, the most efficient mortgage process you'll ever experience.
Hey, St. Louis, Eddie McVeigh here from Maggie O'Brien's. I'm wondering, where is everyone watching the Super Bowl? Forget those house parties. You have to clean, cook, serve, then clean up again. Let Maggie O'Brien's do the work for you. We got the wings, the beers, and the burgers, so all you have to do is show up. So let's do the Super Bowl together at Maggie O'Brien's. 2 locations, in Sunset Hills on South Lindbergh or downtown at the corner of Market and 20th Street. Union Station is next to us.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. After months of declines, pending home sales rise for the first time since May of 22. If you're even considering buying a home this year, it's time to get prepared. At the Home Loan Expert, we can answer all of your questions and get you pre-approved the day you call in. And with our new banker broker platform, we have unlimited programs and products for almost everyone. Mortgage interest rates have really dropped. Don't miss out on the home of your dreams. Start the pre-approval process today at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326240.
Okay. Hot takes.
Yeah.
Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini.
And now the Pepperoncini Show with Darren Atkins and Ken Strode. All right, take it, fellas.
There it is. That's the open.
Pepperoncini.
Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini.
We don't know what it is. We don't understand the name. We just know it's stupid. And it's available every weekday, featuring Iggy and the Plowboy. Apparently it's some kind of a podcast or something. Available at TMASTL.com and on the TMASTL mobile app. Whatever.
Whoever said there's nothing new under the sun hasn't been to the new Press restaurant, located near Jefferson and 44 next to the Lucky Accomplice, and features the soon-to-be-famous Smash Pizza. What's a Smash Pizza? It's a pizza stuffed with toppings, pressed, then topped with even more local farm ingredients. Located just 5 minutes from our baseball, hockey, and soccer venues, Press is open Thursday through Monday with daily specials 4 to 6, and they can cater your business lunch or dinner, with delivery available on Postmates and Uber Eats. Who says there's nothing new under the sun? Check out the new Press restaurant today.
Urban Dictionary defines thirsty as purposely, knowingly, and recklessly attempting to gain fame to boost self-esteem. So, are you thirsty? Well, TMA has you covered. Become a part of the 2023 TMA Listener of the Month Club. You nominate yourself for a monthly award. And if you win, you get recognition and stuff to help you satisfy that insatiable thirst. We're talking January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, etc. Go to TMASTL.com or the TMA app. Give us your name, a photo, and other pertinent information. Tell us why you deserve to be TMA Listener of the Month. And if you don't want to use your real name or photo, we don't really care. The TMA Listener of the Month. Get recognized just for being you or fake you or whatever. Quenched by Milagro Tequila. Welcome to the brighter side of tequila with Milagro in the morning after on KPNT HD2. KPNT HD 92, Collinsville, St. Louis. Now, back to the Ryan Kelly Morning After.
Why? Why? Ryan Kelly Morning After, Appliance Discounters, 8 o'clock hour. Timothy Michael McKernan, Douglas Sullivan Vaughn, Action Jackson's on the ones and twos. Plowhawk is ill, but he's in the Horton Watkins studio. Saw him during the commercial break. Plowhawk, you feel like you're trending down.
100% trending down, but I think I had a feeling that was going to happen since, if I felt like this over the weekend, I would feel like maybe this is the tail end of it. Seeing as I felt fine yesterday and now waking up to it, I imagine this is probably just the beginning. So, we have plenty of meds at home. So hopefully just try to remedy that today. And high spirit for tomorrow.
High spirit. What kind of medication are you going to be taking?
100% some Dayquil, although I would love a nap, but I think it's best to take some of the medication before I sleep. So it may eliminate a nap with the Dayquil, but also it'll probably make my throat feel good, put a cough drop in, and, hopefully just kind of relax.
When you nap, how long you nap on average, bro?
Man, typically if I time out a nap, usually it's about an hour. If I just, smoke a Beezy and I just naturally pass out, I could be out 3 hours.
Gosh.
That's what I was on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I get dangerous with my naps.
After I had slept for 13 hours, I was up for 4 hours, and I'm like, I think I could sleep again. And then I slept again for like 3.5 hours. It was insanity.
How'd the boys deal with that?
I had my nephew's birthday party, and I would have loved to have gone to it, actually. He's the same age as my oldest son, and I would have enjoyed going because my family's going to be out of town for a few months now. Anna Marie took them over to that, and I didn't even know. She didn't even know I was not going to go. I just fell asleep. I think they were home by the time I woke up. It was weird. It was a really weird deal. Doug, what do you think? Virus or food poisoning? Let's play virus or food poisoning.
I'm going food poisoning.
Just didn't eat much.
If it just lasts a day or so, sounds like food poisoning to me.
Jackson, virus or food? Because you got to see me while this was going on, too.
Right. I think it might
How
have
did
been.
you get to see him?
Because it started right at the end of Balloon Party.
Oh.
I'll zag. I think it was like a 24-hour stomach bug. Those, are somewhat common. Not
I lost
caused
8
by food.
pounds.
You did?
I don't have, like if the Plowhawk lost 8 pounds, he'd be negative.
Yeah, you'd be burying me.
The last day I was like, this will be interesting to see what I weigh on Saturday.
Because you just didn't eat a thing and
couldn't.
probably
I
sweating.
tried to. I was like, okay, maybe I can. So I went and I got Jell-O. I don't know when the last time I went to the grocery store to get Jell-O was. Because I'm like, the idea of eating anything. Usually I eat a salad at noon, and I'm like, that makes me ill. So I'm going to try to get Jell-O, and I did. And Doug, I would see it about an hour and a half later.
Were you drinking a lot of water?
No, I didn't touch anything.
Then you lost a ton of water.
Oh, yeah.
weight.
No, I didn't.
Sweating
Yeah,
it all out.
My doctor was like, just try Jell-O and clear liquids for the next 24 hours.
It is amazing when you weigh yourself often how much your weight varies. Just meal to meal, or when you go to sleep,
what
or
time,
when you wake
what time
up in the
you
morning.
eat is a big factor,
Yeah.
and how many carbohydrates at night. I mean, for me, I don't lift anymore, so I don't know. Either way, Plowhawk, I hope you feel better. I hope you don't have what I had, because it really was. It was 24 or 48 hours. It was miserable.
Luckily, I'm not VomCom. This is certainly what I have is what I like to call a virus. So I put the mask on, just precautionary reason, and I don't want to freak anybody out or scare anything, but I don't really know what it is. So it could be minor, it could be major. You just never know.
I don't know. You sound ghastly.
Well, the day's such a thick, Doug.
Well, I think you'll be all right. I think getting up, moving around, I think sometimes that helps. Eating, forcing yourself to eat a little something, get back in your routine,
I am really good at champing it out, though.
I like that, champing it out.
Champing it out.
I woke up this morning, typically, the Nate in the east side of Alton, he would have called his boss at Chick-fil-A and said, hey, man, I can't really come in today, even though I had yesterday off because it's Sunday. But no, for me, I wake up, it's 4. Who am I going to call? Am I going to call Jackson? Hey, man, I can't come in. There are situations that I'll run into that, but, I champ it, and I'm here and supporting the boys.
Tim, come over and kiss me. I need to lose some weight. That's
No.
from Steve in Wild.
No, gosh.
I can do that.
I'm guessing you don't recommend a weight loss plan, though.
No, I'm back up to, I guess I'm still net -3 since my Friday, approximately. Yeah. But yeah, I was like, oh my God. I'm getting in the 140s. I'm starting to get next to the Plowhawk department. Yes, I'm a twink of a boy.
Iggy, what do you weigh?
160 something.
Oh, you don't?
See, I don't get that either, because Iggy eats 1 meal a day.
What do you think I weigh?
I would have guessed $145.
I think 160 is right.
I think 150 something.
I thought you just said 160 something.
Yeah.
150, 160, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. There's no right or wrong answer. I just wouldn't have thought. You're not terribly tall, and you're slender, thin. I would have thought 145.
You're a twink of a gentleman, too.
Depends what I eat.
Well, yeah.
Think about that, Doug.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, last night I had a burger.
Where'd you get it from?
Bush Creek.
Oh, look at that. We set him up. We didn't even know we set him up. Take a listen to
it
this,
must have
Doug.
been a good burger.
Yep.
Oh, it was so sweet.
The burger was sweet?
I've never had a hamburger meat that tasted like that. It was so sweet. It was delicious. So, I got a question for you, though, Doug.
What?
What kind of meat do you plan on putting in your mouth this Sunday for the big game?
Oh, I'll be on an airplane on the way back.
Oh, yeah. Where are you going again?
Dallas.
Nice.
Oh, this is before the Mediterranean trip, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I got 17 weeks this year.
Well, why don't you take a week and just eat?
I would like that, too.
Bush Creek Valley Farms wants to put their meats in your mouth.
Yeah.
As well as all our listeners' mouths. Bush Creek Valley Farms has all types of high-quality cuts of beef and pork guaranteed to satisfy the largest of our Walrus listeners. They deliver their grass-fed, pasteurized raised meats nationwide in insulated boxes to ensure your order arrives in perfect condition just in time for the big game or Valentine's Day.
Oh, good idea.
Valentine's Day, you want to get your significant other something? Cook for her.
You want to get your sweetie some nice meaty?
Cook for her. This is the day she doesn't cook.
Mm-hmm.
Get a nice slab of ribs. Oh, God. Go to Bush Creek Valley. I'm hungry just thinking about it.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, go to bushcreekvalley.com and browse their various curated boxes such as the brisket box, pork chop box, ground beef box. I had the ground beef last night.
How was it?
Delicious. It was sweet.
Sweet, yeah, that's
yes. Or build your own box. You can go on there and just see, hey, I want some fillets, I want some porterhouse, maybe a ribeye, and throw in some pork steaks.
Oh.
Pretty simple. Once you have what you need, be sure to apply the promo code TMA10 for 10% off your box. We're making it easy for you.
Okay.
It's just 10% off. We had earlier, if you do the curated box, 5%, 10%, 20%. It's all, make it simple, because our listeners couldn't figure it out because they're dumb.
Oh.
You're not dumb if
Doug,
you
you're doing a live read, but attacking the...
There's really no way to sell the meat to the listeners.
It is.
You're too dumb to get this.
Well, we're making it simple for you.
Okay.
TMA 10 for 10% off your box order. That's TMA and the number 10 for 10% off each box order. Support a local family farm and go to brushcreekvalley.com and enter code TMA10 at checkout for 10% off. Bush Creek Valley Farms, high-quality meats for a lowbrow audience.
What's the passcode?
TMA 10.
Okay.
Nice. The passcode at Munganast is the secret phone number.
Secret phone number to text Jamie Burkhardt, Clayton Patterson, or Peter Munganast. Doug, do you know the secret phone number?
That number would be 314-252-0029.
That's it.
Straight to the muckety-mucks.
Yep. Muckety-mucks. It's a phone call or a text. Doesn't matter. Your call.
I saw Clayton Saturday.
Oh, yeah?
Where'd you see him?
That's how good they are. They called me and said, Iggy, we need to slap some new tags on your plates. Bring them on in.
Doug, watch this.
Tags, yeah. Brought back Vietnam-type flashback memories for me.
Munganast is the best customer service. Looking for a new car, pre-owned car, or just to get your car serviced, work with the best, the official automotive provider of the Ryan Kelly Morning After and the Tim McKernan Show podcast, and the title sponsor of Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. It's all one place, stlouisacura.com and altontoyota.com. And
there's a secret number.
That number is 314-252-0029, straight to the muckety-mucks.
And Jamie Burkhardt texted me during the Munganess 7 o'clock hour.
Did he?
And he said, what you guys should do is record a 2 to 3 hour show Friday afternoon, play it twice on Saturday morning. I would sponsor, and I bet others would as well. How about that, Doug?
Gosh.
More radio, more podcasting.
Yeah.
If the people want it.
More listeners, and more sponsors.
Yeah.
I said I'll do whatever they need me to do to make money for the station.
You'll come in and spin tunes.
Well, I wonder if Clayton would sponsor that.
Things are happening.
I don't know.
Just full of ideas, just percolating.
Gabe DeArman will percolate on Mississippi State on Saturday night. The Tigers losing. Got it close at one point, Doug, 45-41.
Mm-hmm.
But then Mississippi State pulled away. This was kind of reminded me of the A&M game where they fell behind big and then they came back and then they wound up getting blown out.
Yeah. If the three-pointers don't fall, they're not going to beat anybody.
Wide Delta. Jackson, you are the official Missouri basketball correspondent before the Colonel joins us, and I go to this athletic 2023 MLB wildcard era franchise rankings. I'm sure you have takes. First off, did you lose sleep Saturday night? Because Jackson loses sleep when Missouri loses.
Oh, I wouldn't.
He revealed that on Balloon Party, and they pounced.
That one actually really did frustrate me.
Here we go.
I think it was their second worst performance behind Kansas. It wasn't that they were just missing shots; they were clanking them. They were going off the side of the rim. They weren't like in and out or like hitting the back of the rim. They were clanking shots.
Aren't they leading the SEC in scoring?
Yes.
And they scored, 50-something?
Yeah, if they score 70 or more points, they're undefeated this season. So that's kind of the magic number, and they can only reach that if they're hitting threes. And they were and in that stretch where they were keeping it close, they weren't hitting free throws. That's what do you say, Tim? You have to hit free throws in March?
Yeah, March.
Yeah, so that's the problem. They were playing to Mississippi State's pace, which is never a good thing for Mizzou. And to Mississippi State's credit, they played really good half-court defense. But when Mizzou can't push in transition, when they can't hit threes, they look like a very average ball club. Now, on the opposite end, when they're hitting shots and creating chaos on defense, they look like one of the top 25 teams in the country. So it's a very, very wide delta. But that game, you need road wins, and that was a good opportunity for one. You couldn't grab it.
They had a couple of huge wins in Illinois and Kentucky and beat both teams convincingly. Beyond that, they've been a pretty average team.
Beating Iowa State was a huge
Iowa State was a nice
victory.
win. But they're, 5-5 in the conference?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
2 road wins this season. That's not good.
And they bolstered their record with their non-conference wins.
Yeah.
Although they do have those 3 big wins.
They have 3 big wins, 3 signature wins, wins against ranked teams, some quad 1 wins, but don't have road wins. But not a lot of SEC teams have road wins. It's tough to win on the road in the SEC. But having said, you got to beat. You had to beat either Florida, A&M, or Mississippi State on the road, and you couldn't get any of them.
Well, after such a bad loss on a Saturday night, did you still go out and dance by yourself?
Not by I went out for a little bit. But
Where'd you go?
I didn't hit it that hard.
You go to Soulard Bra?
Nah, a little place in South City.
Oh, really? Where?
Stands. Ever been to Stands?
Named after the guy from 98 Degrees.
It was actually named after our caddy at Bell Reef.
Where is this Stands?
Like Delore and another South City street.
Okay.
You can shoot pool there and hang out.
It's just a neighborhood bar?
Yeah, it's just a very tiny neighborhood bar.
How's that ass?
Not good. It was not.
So this isn't a live read.
So you were so
older
bummed
gentleman.
out, so bummed out at the loss to Mississippi State that you just kind of went to a small bar and shot billiards.
When you put it like that, it sounds bad.
I would have thought maybe you'd go to a happening night spot to maybe get yourself in a better mood.
No, you would be wrong.
So you were I remember after the Arkansas loss, I just kind of flippantly I said, did you lose sleep? And Jess goes, yeah, I was up all night thinking about it. Oh, God.
Yeah,
what's it going to be like during the NCAA tournament?
No, I'll be in shambles.
I have never been a big enough fan of any team where their loss affected me to the point where I didn't want to continue to go out and have a good time. Now, if my own team, some team that I played on lost, yes, but not watching somebody else's team. Even if it's
What,
a Cardinals.
Missouri isn't your team, bro?
It is, but if they lose, oh well.
Sounds like someone isn't a true son.
Oh.
Be curious what Gabe has to
Have
think
fun on
about it.
Tiger Board
But
today.
it's that way with the Cardinals too. Even if they lose a really important game, it hurts for about 10, 15 minutes, and then I'm able to plow on, do whatever the hell I was going to do.
Well, it wasn't
before.
like I was crestfallen. I wasn't walking
You were
around.
playing pocket billiards.
Billiards is fun.
billiards.
Shooting stick is fun. I don't care what anyone says.
Who was there? Sweet Kai?
Nah,
Gareth?
Private Citizen Pete and Herb.
Oh, Herb's hog was out.
Yeah, he was ornery. He wasn't happy after the last
All
season.
right.
None of us were.
I'm just surprised a bunch of
Trio
single guys would
sadness.
get together and
Who said single?
and shoot pool
Herb and
on a
the
Saturday
CCP
night.
of significant others.
It would have been about the last thing I wanted to do when I was 24 and single. Let's go shoot some pool at a small little bar in South Side. No!
Well, some people like some things. And some
I guess
people like
they
other
do.
things. I'm tired of being ridiculed for what I do in my free time. It seems like a whole segment of this presentation. I don't like
Did
it.
the Billikens win yesterday?
They lost to VCU on Friday.
Good.
You fed up with them now.
Down Ford?
Well, they could have been number one in the
A10?
A10, I think.
Had they won all their games.
No, they could have. If they would have
that was
beat
a battle for
VCU,
first.
they would have
was a
moved
battle
up to
for
number
first.
one.
Still, they're going to need to win the A10 tournament.
Yeah, whenever Travis Ford has expectations, hold him up.
What does that mean?
The exhale before the delivery was key.
Hold him up.
You don't believe in Travis?
He's the best coach you're going to get, so you cannot fire him. He's getting local recruits and doing everything you need to do. But,
Why
man,
would they want to fire him? He's got
his
a team.
teams are terrible in late situation defense.
Terrible?
No, Doug, I didn't say terrible in general. Free throw shooting, late defensive switches, they're awful at both, man. They just self-inflicted wounds, and after 5 years of that, I don't know. Probably the coach, but again, like Travis Ford, probably the best you're going to get there. Personality-wise, recruiting-wise, this is just what you're going to get, a bunch of NITs.
Oh.
I like him. I don't think you should fire him. What are you going to get? But
I don't think anybody's talking about firing him.
I don't know, Doug. Did you see Chafitz's tweet over the weekend?
No.
That's the dude paying money. So
What did he say?
He was pissed about the loss. I mean, you could read into the tweet rather well.
What did he say?
Just another heartbreaking, defeating loss.
He said it was a bad loss.
Yeah, to me, when he tweeted that shows a lot because he typically doesn't get too down and out about a random loss. So he looked pissed, or seemed pissed.
It would be fun to be so wealthy to have build a building and have it named after you while you're still young enough to enjoy that.
Amazing. It's amazing. I love Chaffetz Arena, too.
Well, because we don't have the cash. We just don't have it.
Great place for concerts, too. They don't get a ton of them, but it's a good venue for concerts.
Let's see. Terrible loss for St. Louis MBB. No more, no less. Dr. Rick Chaffetz.
Yep.
Doesn't that seem weird of a tweet?
SLU needs to cut the turnovers. They do, they win.
Well,
it's not going after the coach. The coach is...
I'm just seeing what he usually tweets to try to get baseline behavior. That's what I'm doing.
I mean, free throws aren't really on the coach. If a player, it's like fielding a ground ball.
Dude, you 5 or 6 years of bottom A10 and free throw percentage. After a while, the coach, man, when you have recruits and sets of players coming in and still not understanding how to hit free throws, that's a coaching issue in terms of how many they shoot. Are they shooting them after practice?
You can shoot a million at practice. You're never going to replicate free throws in the game.
Well, there's a common denominator. In 5 years, there have been a lot of different players on this roster, and one common denominator as a head coach.
You want
Travis
him
Ford.
out.
No, I don't. Doug, I already said. You can't fire the guy. There's nothing else you can get. You play in the A10. No offense to the A10, but kind of a trash league.
They put like three or four. They put like 3 or 4
I guess
tournament
I did
teams
just
together a
balance.
year.
What's up?
They put like 3 or 4 tournament teams. In
Oh,
there
it's
every
the
year.
most top-heavy of the conferences in the country. I mean, geez, look at the bottom. You got the LaSalle's and the...
LaSalle plays in a good gym, though.
It is.
Oh, you like LaSalle's gym?
Gym.
Reminds
It's
me of
not an
St.
arena.
Gabriel's.
No, it is literally a high school gym. Like, I think Kirkwood might have more capacity.
Pioneer proud. All right, I deep teased this story. Doug, this is for you.
Okay.
2023 MLB Wild Card Era Franchise Rankings. This is from The Athletic, posted early this morning. Here is how they do it.
Okay.
He writes, Stephen Nesbitt. You know Steve Nesbitt?
No.
He says, as a true ball rider of the people.
Don't say that.
I love that.
He just anointed himself that he's the one speaking for the people.
The voice of the voiceless.
They're ranking teams from 1995 to the present. You get 9 points for winning the World Series.
Okay.
For winning a pennant, you get 6 points.
Pennant.
For losing in a championship series, you get 3 points. For losing in a division series, you get 2 points. For losing in the wild card, you get 1 point. He said, in addition, readers wanted to incentivize division titles and penalize prolonged non-competitiveness and tanking. So teams are now rewarded each time they win their division, plus 1 point, and docked when they lose at least 90 games in consecutive seasons, minus 1 point. Consider the first bad season a grace period. Lose 90-plus games 5 seasons in a row like the 2001 to 2005 Tigers, and that's minus 4 points total. Add up the point totals for each of the past 28 seasons from the shortened 1995 season through 2022 World Series, and you've got the updated franchise rankings. Doug, the worst franchise since 1995 is?
I guess I would go with that Detroit, or maybe, Seattle went forever without getting in the playoffs.
I don't have the time for you to go through
Detroit.
No, I'm sorry.
They went to a World Series.
Well, so did Kansas City, so they're probably out. Oakland?
No. When I say it, you're going to be kicking yourself, by the way.
Colorado or Miami, for sure.
No.
Not Seattle?
No.
Can I have the initials, please?
PP.
Pittsburgh Pirates?
Yes!
See, that was easy. Don't make it so easy.
They're the only ones who are in the negative total.
Oh, God.
They have minus 4 points.
That's awful.
It's not been a great run.
The next team is 10 points away from them. And to give you an idea of how the point total works, the team that is number 1 in the wild card era, just to give you an idea, to show just how bad the Pirates have been, that is the only team, like I said, in negative points, and they're 10 points, which is the biggest gap between number 30 and 29. The second worst team, anybody want to fire a bullet? We're not going to do all 30 for the record. But
initials, please.
B-O.
Baltimore Orioles.
Yes!
We're experts at this.
That was easy.
Then you get to the Royals. Even though the Royals won a World Series and went to a World Series in 2014, won it in 2015. Otherwise, it's been a disaster. And then you see another friend from the National League Central, the Cincinnati Reds,
right.
27th. You'll see another friend from the National League Central. That'll be a theme in the early going. This one might surprise you. The Milwaukee Brewers, 24th.
Really?
How about that? That one kind of surprised me when I was reading
because
this
they've been
morning.
pretty good lately.
Milwaukee missed the playoffs this past fall for the first time in 5 years, but momentum still seems to be in their favor. The Brewers boast one of the best rotations in baseball, headlined by Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff. And adding William Contreras this winter strengthens a lineup that already was better last year than many realized. The Brewers checked in at number 8 on Law's latest farm system rankings, but overall since 1995, they have 14 points, which puts them in 24th place. Another friend from the National League Central makes an appearance in the bottom half, and that would be, of course, the Chicago Cubs. The Chicago Cubs are 10th, not in the bottom half, 10th. And I'm surprised they're 10th, but they did have a run in the late aughts, and then, of course, the run in 15, 16, and 17. I don't know what they were around in 18 or not. But the Cubs are 10th. Now, the question, Doug.
Yeah.
The most successful franchises, give me the top 3 since 1995.
I would think it would be Boston, maybe Houston, and the Dodgers.
None of those are in the top 3.
Really?
Wow, really? Boston's not in the top 3?
Cardinals.
So then the Yankees, the Cardinals, and
Braves.
Giants.
You're firing good bets at the pot, but Ken Strode's the one who's correct. I mean, he's just nailing everything.
Really?
The Yankees are number 1 by a comfortable margin, by the way. But keep in mind, the Yankees, I'm sure if we were doing Francesa's show in New York, probably don't have a whole lot of equity in New York right now because they haven't won a World Series since 2009. But when you go back to 95, you have them dominating 96. They didn't get there in 97. I apologize in advance, Indians did, and they lost to the Marlins. But they were in the postseason. And then 98, 99, 2000, and they were a half inning away in 2001. from winning yet again. So they had that run and a 2009 World Series, and they're in the playoffs all the damn time. So the Yankees have a comfortable gap between them and the second place team, and the second place team, the Braves.
Really?
But again, a lot of that would be weighted toward the Braves winning the World Series in '95, getting to the World Series in '96. Eric Gregg had an intriguing strike zone when they played the Marlins in 1997.
A foot outside is a strike. Mm-hmm. If it's by one of the Braves' top pitchers, a foot outside is a strike.
Well, it was to the advantage of Levon Hernandez that particular afternoon. And '99, they were back in the World Series, and then they've won one since then as well. So I think that's where that comes from. Again, kind of like the Yankees, a lot of the late 1990s. So if you're younger, that might. And then number 3, the Cardinals. And they're right there with the Braves as far as the tops of the National League. I would have thought, honestly, I would have gone probably Yankees, Braves, Cardinals, Giants.
Red Sox have won 3 World Series, right?
Red Sox are 4th. But the Cardinals have a decent gap on them. 72 points for the Cardinals, 66 points for the Red Sox. Here's what they write about the Cardinals. Only 2 MLB teams have had no 90-loss season since 1995, the Cardinals and the Yankees. The Cardinals are a model of excellence and reliability in the National League. Since 2000, the Cardinals have had just 1 losing season, which was 2007, and have reached the playoffs 16 times. If you're a fan of the Brewers or Cubs or about 20 other teams, that's maddening consistency. St. Louis didn't add much this offseason, settling for one big deal to bring in Wilson Contreras to replace the retired Yadier Molina. But with an established roster and a top 10 farm system, they'll be all right. So the Cardinals in the last decade have 22 points, which puts them 5th in Major League Baseball.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems about right to me. Plowsy, what do you think about the Cardinals being described as a model of excellence?
I mean, I hate what happened the last 6 years, but in terms of from 95 to now, I mean, it's obvious they're a top 5 franchise. I mean, I love to bash them, but they're right. No 90-loss seasons. You have, what, 2 World Series in that era?
2006, 2011, lost in 2004 and 2013.
I hate from 2012 to now in the era that I absolutely cannot stand of Cardinal baseball. But no, like before that, I completely agree with the rankings. I cannot wait to see in the next 5 to 10 years when they do this to see where they stack up with a bunch of wild card one-and-dones and a bunch of low-hanging fruits.
Oh.
So, yeah, like that era is great.
Dodgers, Marlins, Brewers, Twins. I don't think they're very good. Phillies.
That's right.
Pittsburgh, 82.5. Except that division with the Cubs. The Phillies weren't in it. If the Pirates weren't in with the Cubs, I think they're probably over in that division. I just worry about them and the Cardinals. The Cardinals, they put them at what, 84.5. That's about right.
That's about right. But I absolutely cannot stand the Cardinal baseball from 2012 to now. That's my most annoying. I cannot stand it, man.
I feel differently. I feel the Cardinals give me everything I need in my team.
Doug, it's milk toast. If you want to just backdoor your way, you're in it. Okay.
Almost every game they play is meaningful. From the start of the season right down to the last game, they're all meaningful games.
Give me the Houston Astros model any day of the week.
You want to be the
instead
worst
of
team in the league for 3 or 4 years?
Yes, and then be dominant the next 10 to 12. 100%, Doug. Just floating along. Just it's not entertaining to me. I'm sorry. Not having aggressive off seasons.
Right merit badge.
Yeah. I think Strauss would hate this 10-year run too that the
Joe
Cardinals
Strauss
have been on.
is so missed.
Yes.
And the thing is, when Joe Strauss passed away, I knew he'd be missed because again, he's a credible dissenter. You know, a lot of people can dissent, but they might not be credible.
Yeah.
And then plenty of people have credibility are scared to dissent. So that's why Strauss was so great. And he didn't give a damn, which also makes him, lethal. But I would, with regards to the Cardinals' consistency, when you observe that 3 of the teams ranked in the bottom 20 percentile are from the National League Central, 24, 27, and 30, I think that helps provide why Cardinal fans, I don't think, as weird as it might sound, would feel that the franchise since 1995 has been the 3rd best in baseball. Because while the point total is there, which is certainly boosted by division titles, that kind of consistency appearing in the postseason has been met with a lot of disappointment in the postseason. When you're there as often as they are to quote-unquote only get to 4 World Series, that isn't a great conversion rate. And then it would speak to the argument that they are in part, experiencing the appearances in the postseason because they're in a division with 2 woeful operate. I mean, the Pittsburgh Pirates are another world. Pittsburgh Pirates, I think you could make a case. Jackson, you can provide the NBA context. Because everybody in the NFL in the last 15 years has been in the playoffs, unless I'm missing something. And I realize the NFL's got a bunch of people going to the playoffs. But the Pittsburgh Pirates, I think you can make a case for being the worst franchise in professional sports, the 4 major sports leagues in North America since 1995. So that's in your division. The Reds have been a dumpster fire as well. And I'm surprised to see the Brewers there at 24, honestly. And I'm surprised to see the Cubs as high as 10. But I think the handful of years where the Cardinals were kind of out of it, that's when the Cubs were in. And I'm talking about 07, 08. And then the Cubs had their run when the Cardinals were kind of flopping around in 16, 17, and 18. So maybe that's why it doesn't seem, because they weren't really doing battle like the Cardinals and Astros were.
Yeah.
You know
Pirates
what I
haven't
mean?
even had since McCutcheon and even before, who's their most
They were a
exciting
few outs
player?
away from getting the Cardinals out in 2013, and
Yeah,
they blew
they
that
had a good
lead.
team back then.
They did, and the
Yeah.
Cardinals came back in Game 4, and then they beat them in Game 5. Wainwright and Garrett Cole, if I'm not mistaken.
And then the Pirates just jettisoned their top players. We don't need these guys.
Well, they traded for Matt Morris, who was on his way to go to Montana and play FIFA the rest of his life, and couldn't have been more annoyed by having to go east. And then the Chris Archer thing, and I'm not doing this because Iggy has a thing with Chris Archer. It was a stunning trade with the Rays for what they gave up and for what Chris Archer was. I mean, they've just made these really strange deals. So it's kind of like how, I was alive in the 1980s, but I know fans of the Big Red, the St. Louis football Cardinals, would talk about the front office moves and go, what are they doing?
Oh, yeah.
That's
especially
what
with the draft.
Yeah. So anyway, when 3 of the bottom 6 teams in the rankings are in your division, that's telling you, that helps your cause. Meanwhile, the Yankees to be in the spot they're in, when you've got the Red Sox in there, speaks a lot when the Red Sox are there along with the Yankees. And, and while the Rays certainly aren't a blue blood team, somehow I feel like since they made that appearance in the World Series in 2008, they're always there, even though you probably can't name more than 5 players on the team.
Yeah.
And there aren't more than 5 people in that beautiful ballpark.
Well, St. Louis is a similar-sized market to some of these other teams that have really struggled, like Pittsburgh and Milwaukee and Cincinnati and Kansas City. Similar-sized market. We ought to be pretty happy that they found a way to be able to play with the big boys and to afford some of the best players in the game and the salaries that they command.
Play with the big boys.
Well, I think they do.
When?
Well, they have won a couple World Series in the last 20 years.
They didn't win the division last year.
Let me ask the Plowmaster this.
Well, the division was,
their playoff record in the last few years has been woeful.
Yeah, Doug, again, my point, thank you. Making the playoffs, to me, I'm just done with it. I'd rather you
done with
rebuild.
that? That's the whole purpose of the regular season.
But also, you're talking about, we avoided these bad contracts. We haven't. Brett Cecil, Andrew Miller. We have Mike Leake.
Every team's got those. Every team in
we just signed Steven Matz. He played 8 games last year. We have another pitcher coming off of injury. I'd rather just use all that money that we spent on 4 terrible players who are out off the roster in 3 years, and just overload and overpay Bryce Harper type player, which we should have, but we didn't. So that's why the Cardinals are. It's almost like they overthink and shoot themselves in the foot. I think you just got to go and be aggressive.
Well,
but they don't need to be, because you got 3 million nacho head eating dorks going every time. Going to see Lars Nootbaar grinding a pepper shaker.
The Cardinals are never going to have 3 players on their team all making $25 to $30 million a year. Never.
Well,
if you have Bryce
they almost
Harper
have that now, don't they?
Well, you got
Goldschmidt.
Arenado and Goldschmidt.
Arenado.
Who's the next closest?
Contreras, probably.
Yeah, Contreras is probably close to that.
25, 30 million?
Not 25 or 30. What do you get? 80 million over 4 years?
You got like 16 and a half, maybe. 15 and a half.
And they've had it. Molina made a ton of money. They had a bunch of guys right around 18 million or so.
That's not 25 or 30. I'm talking about these 10-year contracts for $300 million.
Well, Bryce Harper contract would have worked out for the Cardinals. And just in terms of now you have a DH, look at what they're doing in Philly. I mean, it's just absolutely raking it.
Yeah.
So that one we should have done, and I'll stand by that.
Well, and just because you wanted him doesn't mean that the player wanted to come here.
Well, probably not for that. I'm sure Mosela gave a nice, tempting offer.
Apparently, they went heavy after
3 years, $35 million with the option of a fourth.
Carlos Stanton. Apparently, they made a play for him. He said he just didn't want to play here.
And those are the ones we got lucky with.
Well, there's no guarantees with any of these contracts that the Bryce Harpers or the Brett Cecils.
Well, they're guaranteed when you're signing Brett Cecil, Mike Leake, and Steven Matz that there's 100% disappointment going to happen. None of those, nobody was like, oh, man, we got Mike Leake. Let's give him $80 million. Yes. Like, nobody was excited about the contract that they shelled out for those guys.
Good morning.
Well, hindsight, of course, is 2020. Those turned out to be terrible signings for sure. But every team does that. Every team swings and misses sometimes. They all do. It's just part of it.
Yeah.
You don't buy that.
I'm just so sick of backdooring in the playoffs and just losing in the wild card. It's just so annoying. It's like, am I the only one that's annoyed by that?
Well, they didn't.
I feel like I'm the only one.
If you win the division, that's not backdooring.
Oh my God! You see that division? Jesus, Doug, come on. We just talked about the Pirates. They have -4 points. I know what that means. Absolutely nothing. But like,
you can only play in the division where they put you. So
you really only have to care about a third of like your division games. Really, you can go in there with a hangover and beat the Pirates.
Now that's changing this year, right? The schedule changed.
Right.
Where now they play
more balanced.
I think they play everybody in baseball.
That's
this
correct.
Year, and fewer division games.
And I like that.
Yeah, I do too. Just for the entertainment value, I like to see everybody. I don't need to see 18 games.
13 games against division rivals, 52 games overall against division opponents. Each team will play 6 games against 6 opponents and 7 games against 4 opponents in the same league for a total of 64 games.
Big fan.
Yeah, I like that.
So that will most likely, barring somebody in the National League Central who is not projected to have a good year, having a good year, that will, quote-unquote, hurt a team like the Cardinals that is expected to have a good year. The thing that I would make, and I make this observation more often on 101 than I do here, but I'll bring it here, is nationally, John Mozeliak's approval rating is, because I would guess, Doug, I know this is totally arbitrary, but I would think his approval rating in St. Louis is around 40 to 50%. And nationally, amongst baseball writers and hardcore baseball fans, because the average person can't name the GM or president of baseball operations of most teams, would put it like at 80 to 90%.
Probably so, yeah.
And then the Cardinal approval rating over the last decade, locally, I think more people, I don't think they're necessarily as extreme as, say, the Plowhawks' opinion is, but haven't considered the last decade to be particularly successful. But I mean, they were. If we're going the last decade, I don't know if we're going to start in 12 or 13. 12, they were a win away, beating Barry Zito away at home from going to yet another World Series. But if you just want to start in 13, they went to the World Series. 14 NLCS, really disappointing. That's one where a manager got them, and that was stunning what went on in the management of the 2014 NLCS, and really unfortunate because I think that team was good enough. In 2015, a 100-win team, but then you had these mediocre 16, 17, and 18 teams. 19 had some great pitching, but crap offense relative to the teams that would wind up advancing. They just got shut down by the Nationals. 2020 is whatever. And 2021, that was a month-ish of great baseball. If you recall, that was the winning streak year.
Yeah, right at the end.
And then 2022, I thought 2022 was a great year. I think 2022 was a great year. So I think if you're comparing it to a lot of teams in baseball, it would be on the top third. I think for Cardinal fans, however, I don't know if it necessarily feels that way. And I think that's perhaps because of what 16, 17, 18, and then the flameouts in the 19 NLCS. I don't even remember what happened in 2020. I don't know how many people even count 2020. You had the wild card beat to the Dodgers and then the sweep against the Phillies. So I think for what the standard is locally, I think many fans would say the last decade hasn't been great. And then I think nationally people would go, well, the Cardinals, they're always in it. And the Cardinals have been to an NLCS in 13, in 14, in 19, and they've been in the playoffs in, if you want to count, 20, but 21 and 22. But that's a very wider net definition of the playoffs than even the first 10 years of this decade, much less if you want to go back to the playoff format of the 1990s or in 1980s before you had the wild card, where you were a series win away from going to the World Series. So it kind of gets closer to that 1980s NHL where 4 of the 5 teams in the Norris division would play a round robin and one team would be sitting out. And so that is why I understand where the Plowhawk is coming from with going the last decade has not been, I mean, I realize he's more passionate about it, but and then you look at the other teams in the division and minus that 15 season and then also 13 where the Pirates were really good, you haven't had teams from the National League Central that you're going, oh, that's a World Series contender. You see what I'm saying? The World Series contenders have come from the East and the West.
Yeah.
And more often than not, it's been the Dodgers out of the West, although at the beginning of that, it was a lot of the Giants. And then here recently, the Phillies and the Braves.
And my passion is also because, like, I feel like death right now, so I'm also getting a little bit more. So
You sound ghastly.
I just expect more. Like, I just don't like basically flatlining in the playoffs. Cardinals are model of consistency. I get that. I'm sick of hearing that, and I'm sick of, kind of having all these free agent opportunities out there, and then we hype up a guy in his 4th season trying to hit over 220, or hyping up prospects who probably won't be in the league for another 2 years. We just justify not signing players by just giving, half-ass excuses, and then we go into the playoffs and absolutely look lost. Taking out Quintana, like all this, it's just Cardinal baseball for me, what I remember in the last 8 to 10 years. And I love Cardinal baseball, but the business model had changed, and I don't think Mozeliak in the front office has changed with baseball. And I could be wrong on that, but it just seems to be that way. I think you got to be a little bit more aggressive. I think you got to take chances. And, I mean, they don't really hold each other accountable at all. They just kind of go, well, we almost made the playoffs, or we made the playoffs. A couple things could have been different. So, I don't know. I think Mozeliak's personality, and I don't think he's with the times.
Oh.
I'm just saying I think baseball is, I wouldn't say passing him by, but I don't think they're changing their business model and strategy as much as they should from the last 10 years.
The last couple of years, they've had a lot of success making moves at the deadline.
Yes, they have.
Getting quality pitchers that made a real difference.
2 huge moves at the deadline. Cannot deny that one bit, Doug.
Yeah.
Wish they would have signed Quintana. That's another one of those offseason just question mark.
Yeah.
Just why. But, yeah, I agree. Their trades in the past couple of seasons at the deadline have been really good.
Plowsy, let me ask you, what has changed in baseball that the Cardinals haven't changed with?
I think you need to spend money, and I realize I'm not talking $17 million for a Yadier Molina reunion tour, or $10-12 million for Wainwright's 50th birthday party. Like I think we need to allocate money elsewhere. And we've had a huge need, Iggy, for outfield, a cornerstone outfielder instead of Grichuk, Piscotty, and Fowler. You could name all these revolving door outfielders. We just have had an opportunity to sign one of those. An infielder, Tommy Edman can move to second. There's not a lot of shorts. I mean, you just got Paul DeYoung. You don't have a lot of depth there. And now you're bringing up Mason Wynn, who won't be on the roster until 2026. So, I think there were moves that should have been made, and they just decided to, again, hold those prospects up on a pedestal and try to justify not spending the money and having second-rate players in the outfield like Yepez and Nootbaar. No offense to those guys, but they're not cornerstones. So that would be where I think a change should have been implemented,
Well, I get that, but
spending more money.
That's not baseball is changing and Mosaic hasn't changed with
Well,
baseball.
you also don't take your pitcher out with 6 2/3 innings with no hit or one hit baseball either. Like, I think they talk themselves into making stupid decisions or not making decisions at all.
Again, those are
we have the
moves.
best fans in baseball in St. Louis.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Again, those are moves the Cardinals have made, but it's not how baseball has changed, and Mosaic hasn't changed with baseball.
But they're analytic whores, and I think that gets in the way.
Analytic whores.
Well, a lot of teams have gone that route.
Well, I think a lot of teams have also realized that, like, going above and beyond with the stat cast and all that can get in your way. Like, Lars Nootbaar spent his entire offseason closing his eyes and swinging blindly to get a 109-mile-an-hour swing, which in the end doesn't make any sense if you're popping him straight up or striking out. So I don't know. I just can't get behind what they're selling. You know, it's a decent team, don't get me wrong. They're not butt asses ever, which we should all appreciate.
Yeah.
But, I mean, going to the game and watching that.
We get spoiled. I mean, if they ever had a horrible season, we'd blow up completely, wouldn't we?
We'd be crestfallen for sure.
We would be. We just assume that they're in the playoffs.
But what I think is interesting, and we got it's more of a kind of a podcast discussion or a discussion where we have a full hour, is the Blues are in the midst of what can only be described as an incredibly disappointing season. Would you agree with that, Doug?
Oh, yeah.
And yet, I feel like, and maybe I'm off the mark, if we were to do more of a scientific one than me just tweeting it out to, my followers, which are certainly not representative of St. Louis sports fans, but like if Randy Carricker sent it out, and then I sent it out, and you kind of got that two different audiences' mindsets, I would think the Blues have a higher approval rating than the Cardinals, which sounds asinine on the surface. But I think that, and I think, again, this is all thesis. This isn't backed up with any data, but I think that's because fans of the Blues, who are also fans of the Cardinals, and fans of the Cardinals who are also fans of the Blues, believe that the Blues are always trying to win. Whether they are or not, they always believe they're trying to win, and they want the Blues to get a playoff series because, it'll help Mr. Stillman to have that revenue. Nobody goes, it'll help Mr. DeWitt to get those 2 games. You know what I mean? No. And it's just a different mindset. And a lot of that, I swear to you that I think there's something to this. A lot of it is as simple as the way John Mozeliak comes off to the fans.
Yeah. Comes off as an intellectual, a little smarter than everybody else.
And that they're being talked down to, and especially in a market that doesn't necessarily have, isn't littered with Fortune 500 companies, and, it isn't necessarily well received here.
Maybe the same reason Whitey Herzog was so wildly popular.
And I was about to go into up until he won the pennant. Once he won the pennant, that's when it changed. It wasn't 2006, it was 2004. Tony La Russa was on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
And it was, he doesn't eat meat, he drinks wine, I don't understand why his family doesn't live with, all these things.
Probably doesn't fish.
And so it goes into that. Now, it's not that Doug Armstrong's, this man of the people thing, but there is a belief more that they are more #relatable. And on top of it, that they will do, and they will spend the cap, even if they're perceived as being a lower budget team, to try to win. Now, it's not fair because 4 years ago they won a Stanley Cup, and it absolutely unified this region, including people who probably hadn't watched a hockey game up until they played the Dallas Stars in the second round. And that was only 4 years ago. The Cardinal World Series is now at this point, more than a decade ago. But it's something. And for example, when the Juan Soto thing came up, Jackson and I were talking about it on 101, and people were like, how dare you even talk about the Cardinals going and get Juan Soto as if it was like this asinine. I'm going, why? And why shouldn't we talk about a team that's been as successful and a fan base that supports him as much going and getting Juan Soto, as if we're like out of line for talking about something like that, which works to the Cardinals' advantage because not everybody in the fan base, but a healthy portion of the fan base doesn't expect them to go out and do that, and so therefore the standards are lower. Meanwhile, the Blues are dealing with the salary cap, and people are going, "Why didn't they get Matthew Tkachuk in here?" Well, doesn't anyone come and play here? And the real answer is, I'd kind of rather be in South Florida. But even if he didn't want to be in South Florida, it still was a salary cap situation. Now, the Cardinals don't have to deal with that. But with that said, there's an expectation that they would go out and sign this prized potential free agent before he was traded from the Flames to the Panthers. And it's so weird to me that the team that is blue blood is not held to the standard that the team, no pun intended, is absolutely not in the blues. But for whatever reason, that's the current standard. That when Bryce Harper's out there and you have an outfield need, yeah, there wasn't really a serious conversation amongst fans about Bryce Harper. There was a portion of the fan base, and when Juan Soto was out there, and initially it wasn't credible. Jackson and I were talking about it on 101, but it's like, oh, God, those morons are talking about Juan Soto. And then it became real, but it's like, well, the Cardinals can't possibly do that. Well, why not? Do you want to win? Because that's the thing. Or you just want to get in. And the thing is, when they just got in 2006 and 2011, they won the World Series. And when they had their best teams, 2004 and 2013, they got to the World Series, but they didn't win. And so I think it has created this false premise of just get in, and it's like the NCAA tournament. And what we found is since they haven't won an NLCS game since 2014, that's actually not the case anymore in baseball. Your thoughts are welcome. 314-881-TMA5. Email in for the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today. The Cardinal, Gabe DeArman, brought to you by James Carlton, comes up next. This is the Ryan Kelly Morning After.
Whoever said there's nothing new under the sun hasn't been to the new Press restaurant, located near Jefferson and 44 next to the Lucky Accomplice, and features the soon-to-be-famous Smash Pizza. What's a Smash Pizza? It's a pizza stuffed with toppings, pressed, then topped with even more local farm ingredients. Located just 5 minutes from our baseball, hockey, and soccer venues, Press is open Thursday through Monday with daily specials 4 to 6, and they can cater your business lunch or dinner, with delivery available on Postmates and Uber Eats. Who says there's nothing new under the sun? Check out the new Press restaurant today.
Urban Dictionary defines thirsty as purposely, knowingly, and recklessly attempting to gain fame to boost self-esteem. So, are you thirsty? Well, TMA has you covered. Become a part of the 2023 TMA Listener of the Month Club. You nominate yourself for a monthly award. And if you win, you get recognition and stuff to help you satisfy that insatiable thirst. We're talking January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, etc. Go to TMASTL.com or the TMA app. Give us your name, a photo, and other pertinent information. Tell us why you deserve to be TMA Listener of the Month. And if you don't want to use your real name or photo, we don't really care. The TMA Listener of the Month. Get recognized just for being you, or fake you, or whatever. Quenched by Milagro Tequila. Welcome to the brighter side of tequila with Milagro in the morning after on KPNT HD2.
Okay. Hot takes.
Yeah.
Pepperoncini.
And now the Pepperoncini Show with Darren Atkins and Ken Stroh. All right, take it, fellas.
There it is. That's the open.
Pepperoncini.
Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini.
We don't know what it is. We don't understand the name. We just know it's stupid. And it's available every weekday, featuring Iggy and the Plowboy. Apparently it's some kind of a podcast or something. Available at TMASTL.com and on the TMASTL mobile app. Whatever. The Morning After wants to send you on a 5-star luxury-included vacation to Sandals Ochi in Ocho Rios, Jamaica. With more than 100 acres of lush gardens overlooking the Caribbean Sea, this 2 resorts in one location let you be trendy when you want it, private when you don't. With more than 105 pools, 22 whirlpools, 16 specialty restaurants, including a zero-entry pool, the Caribbean's first speakeasy, complimentary golf at the Upton Golf Course nearby. You can have it all, and all of it in true 5-star style. Because at Sandals Resorts, love is all you need. Oh yeah. Enter the keyword passport on the TMA app for a chance to win a 4-day, 3-night luxury-included vacation for 2 to any Sandals resort. And if Iggy and Plowsy can find a way to get a passport, you can go type in the damn word, okay? Including round-trip airfare from American Airlines. With more than 40 island destinations, American is your airline to the Caribbean. Find out more at TMASTL.com. Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPNT FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day.
105.7 HD2. The Ryan Kelly Morning After.
Oh, they're going to be playing this tomorrow when the Gamecocks come a-calling. Nobody's playing better than South Carolina.
Except everybody.
Gave Arkansas a run.
It seems like everyone's giving Arkansas a run these days.
It's the Ryan Kelly Morning After. Maggie O'Brien's 9 o'clock hour. Timothy Michael McKernan. James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency has replaced Ken Strode.
Good morning.
314-961-4800. Go online at carltoninsurance.net. He's my insurance agent, and I'm happy about it. We're going to lunch this week, aren't we?
I think so, yeah.
Nice. secret location, Jackson.
I'm clearly missed the info on that one.
Jackson's on the ones and twos because the Plowhawk is ill, but it has not stopped him from giving takes. If anything, it might have poured gasoline on the fire. Plowhawk, you are banty.
If Drink puts out a bat signal, it could be over.
And Doug Vaughn is on the Ken Strode.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. He's out chit-chatting somebody.
he's had enough as well. Is the Colonel with us?
Colonel's with us.
The Colonel, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. Online at carltoninsurance.net. Make the switch. They do all the paperwork for you, and they're the best, and I'm so happy I made the switch. Ladies and gentlemen, Gabe DeArman of PowerMizzou.com. Morning, Colonel.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Well, James and Jackson are really unhappy about what took place in Starkville at the Hump on Saturday. Jackson was so despondent that he went and shot billiards at a pool hall in South City with older gentlemen on Saturday night.
Pool hall.
Is that unusual, or is that just kind of what he does every?
He's 24.
He is 24.
Win or lose, we shoot stick. But anytime Caleb Brown gets the minutes he's getting, kind of gets me a little crestfallen.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of ugly, but also, I mean, Missouri was supposed to lose that game.
Yeah.
It was on the road against a team that's actually a little bit higher than they are in the net ranking.
How about that?
It was, it was. I don't really understand these like 71% chance to win and stuff. I don't know how people come to those numbers exactly, but point is, Missouri was an underdog. They were expected to lose that game. They lost that game. I understand people being frustrated by how they lost that game because I didn't think Mississippi State necessarily played particularly well. It was more about Missouri just absolutely making no shots and turning the ball over more than they usually do. Rotations and lineups were a little bit strange, but it is far from, a crippling loss for Missouri's season. I think a lot of times people just say, well, we should never lose to that team. They tend to say it about almost every team, which is, makes it kind of hard because you're going to lose to some teams along the way.
Well, what do you see going forward now? You think they have got enough going in the tank to get into the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, they will be significant underdogs at Tennessee and Auburn, which will not be bad losses. Those would be just fine. They've got 3 games, 2 games they absolutely have to win. They've got to beat Ole Miss at home. They've got to beat South Carolina at home tomorrow night. It would be recommended to go win at LSU, which is has lost like 10 in a row or something like that and has not played well. And then it basically comes down to you've got 3 other games, Texas A&M and Mississippi State at home at Georgia. If you can win one of those, you're almost certainly in the tournament. If you can win 2, you're a lock for the tournament. Missouri has 2 things going for it on its resume. Every single loss is a good loss, is a quad 1 loss, according to the NCAA. And they have 0 bad losses. They've beaten some good teams, and they haven't lost to anybody that's not considered, a good loss. So given all that, I went through and broke down. There are 93 people that project brackets somewhere along the line. All 93 of them have Missouri in the field as of today. It would take probably 2 bad losses, 2 games that they shouldn't lose in the last 8 games to knock them out, I would think.
You worry about getting blown out at Tennessee? Would that hurt them, or is that under the category of you were supposed to lose that game anyway?
I mean, a lot of people get blown out at Tennessee.
Yeah.
If you get – Tennessee doesn't blow a lot of teams out because they don't score. They might blow you out 63-40, I guess. But no, Tennessee's the number 2 or 3 team in the country. If you go lose that game by a decent amount, so be it. It just means you're not a top 10 team.
Yeah, only scored 46 against a 46-43 game against Auburn. That's a strange score.
Gabe,
that was horrendous.
Yeah, that was such a weird. I felt like Gene Hackman was on the sidelines. It was such a weird game. God, it had to cover the under by like 40 points. I would imagine.
Yeah.
This. I don't know what the reaction on Power Mizzou was on Saturday night, but and I realize those are the hardcore fans, so I understand it's probably more extreme than the average fan. But for me, having observed college basketball for a good amount of time, you expect these kinds of games unless you are take your pick of whoever you would cite as the best college basketball team of the last 20 years. And whoever the elite, I mean, earlier in the day we saw Purdue lose. They battled back, but they lost in Bloomington. It's just kind of the deal, especially on the road, that very rarely even great teams. I mean, that 1994 Missouri team lost by whatever number of points it was in Fayetteville. Granted, that was before Paul O'Linney arrived. But, I mean, it's just kind of part of the deal in college basketball. You're going to have these. But I feel like, and maybe it's just because the recent years of Missouri basketball have been so bad, with the exception of a couple, that there is this, well, see, this proves that they're not that good. And so a loss against what is a decent or good Mississippi State team stands out more than I would think it normally would if Missouri had been good the last few years. In other words, I feel like it was kind of an overreaction to something that I kind of was not surprised to see or that upset by, because I kind of
I think it was an overreaction, and I think there's two reasons for it. First of all, we are a country of football fans. Every game is a referendum. Every game is like the season is riding on it, right? That's not the case in college basketball. It just isn't. They play 32 games at an absolute minimum. The best team in the country is probably going to lose 4. There are going to be teams in the NCAA tournament that have double-digit losses. I mean, that's how it works every single year. The second thing is, I think a lot of teams they only pay attention to a lot of fans only pay attention to their team. They don't have a big context for what's going on around the rest of the country. I mean, I went through so many tournament resumes for what I wrote this morning. The two teams that Missouri is the closest to right now in terms of overall record, conference record, home record, road record, strength of losses, all that, are Auburn and Duke. If you ask a Missouri fan, Auburn, I mean, they're much better. They're easily in the tournament. Duke, hey, they're not as good as Duke's been, but Duke's still good. Duke's easily in the tournament. Missouri, oh, my God, we just lost to Mississippi State. We might be out. But they've got identical resumes. Those are the two teams. They would all three probably be about 7 seeds as of today. So I just think it's a little bit of a myopic view of your own team, and people just can't switch over from football where every single game is this, either we have to fire somebody or, I mean, it was literally 3 days ago that people wanted Dennis Gates locked up because what if somebody comes and tries to take him? And now, oh my God, we might not even make the tournament. We're not very good. It's just, I've said it a million times. I don't think I could live on the emotional roller coaster that a diehard sports fan lives on these days.
Gabe, good morning. I guess the frustrating thing in Starksville for me is you want to go down with your best lineup. And it was just odd. You're seeing guys that don't really warrant a whole lot of playing time. Yeah. Now, I think what, at least this is a fan sitting on the couch, I think he was trying to match rebounding in some fashion with some taller people.
You want Gates fired?
No, not at all. But I guess, I mean, if the barometer is 70 points or more, you win. I mean, that's what we have to go off of right now. Put in your best offensive lineup. I mean, and then try to play your style and see if it can outmatch theirs. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think more than trying to match rebounding, what he was trying to do is have somebody other than Kobe Brown defending Tolu Smith.
Got it.
Because you don't want to put Kobe Brown on a guy like that, because then if he gets 2 fouls, a minute and 30 seconds in, like Noah Carter did, then you're without your best player for the whole game. So I think the idea was, let's put other guys on him. Well, then Noah Carter picked up 3 fouls in the first 12 minutes. And so now you're down. You don't have Ronnie DeGray available. You don't have Trey Gomillion available. So you're down to, were you playing Aiden Shaw, Mo Diarra? He played Mabor Majak and Caleb Brown, who I assume are the guys you're talking about. And I think it was strange, too. I mean, I didn't really get it. Now, I think he had a plan going in, and that plan didn't work, because when Missouri made the run to make it like a 3-point game in the second half, they did it with Kobe Brown and 4 guards. And so as it turns out, in retrospect, would that have been a better approach? Might have been. But I think that was kind of the reasoning for what he did.
Seems to me Mizzou's not the only team out there that lives and dies by the three. That's kind of the game now. And when you got college players shooting rather than NBA players, it explains why you score 87 points on a Wednesday night and 52 points 3 nights later.
And it's why I think, I mean, I watched that game, and, Mississippi State's defense is going to be praised. And don't get me wrong, they're one of the top 10 defensive teams in the country by the numbers, so obviously they're pretty good at it. But Missouri missed a lot of shots that I've seen Missouri make a lot this year. I mean, they missed some wide-open looks. They missed some transition threes that they've been good at. And, they just didn't go in. And outside of the game at Ole Miss, when they've been on the road, they largely haven't gone in. I don't really have an explanation for why that is, but I went through, all the Power 5 leagues plus the Big East this morning. Those teams, which are, theoretically the best teams in America, have won 35% of their road games this year combined. I mean, just nobody wins on the road. It's more true in college basketball than it is any other sport. I think it's usually, or a lot of times, because of officiating. I will give Missouri fans this. Saturday was the first loss in a long time that I literally didn't see one person blame on the officiating.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we're turning corners.
And yet Jackson still went to some sleazy pool hall and played pocket billiards. He was so upset by it on a Saturday night. I don't get
24 years old.
It was just a stagnant half-court offense. It seems to me that when they're not running in transition, it's a lot of standing around, which was a big problem during the Conzo era. And I don't think they've remedied it fully.
Like, they're not good in half court, and everybody knows. Everybody knew if you can settle. If Mississippi State played their pace, Missouri wasn't winning a game in the 50s or 60s. I mean, everybody knew that, and credit Mississippi State for frequently, they had chances to take early shots, and they didn't do it. And that takes discipline to say, no, we can maybe make this, but it's better to just not score than maybe take this layup, which then starts to get Missouri into the game they want to play. And, it's like, I mean, everybody said this all year. They are a flawed team. They have some weaknesses, just like almost every other team in the country. And if you can get them in a low possession half-court game, you're probably going to beat them.
Colonel, final question for you. The Super Bowl is this Sunday. Your Chiefs are in it. Last number I saw was Philadelphia -1.5. How do you feel about this thing? How did you feel going into the 49ers Super Bowl? How do you feel about the Buccaneers Super Bowl? Where are you on this one?
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
If they get most of their guys back, I think they've got a good shot, especially if they need to get up early in the game, because I don't think Jalen Hurts can beat them throwing the football. But I don't know. It has to. Hopefully, it's more entertaining than the last one was, because the Tampa one was not particularly fun to watch. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping just give 15 the ball with the chance in the fourth quarter, and I'll take my chances.
If the Chiefs lose, where do you go to play billiards?
No, I don't believe that will be on the agenda.
Oh, okay. So it is unusual to do. All right.
Are you going to tweet about the Chiefs during a Missouri game by chance?
I'm unlikely, but if Nick Bolton makes a game-altering play, I may tweet about that.
Oh, unacceptable.
It will probably be during the Missouri women's game next week, so I hope that doesn't offend any.
Oh, but last time Iggy tweeted at you about the Missouri women's team, I don't think they won since.
No, they're ice cold since.
Does James sit in for Iggy during my segments?
He does.
James really wants to, or because Iggy really?
It's just a mic cinch.
I think Colonel, it's letter C. I think James enjoys it, and I think Ken is happy to be outside.
Iggy's in the kitchen. Absolutely loves every second of it.
Yeah, he's in the kitchen.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And Gabe, are you joining us in St. Louis this week?
Tiger Club, yeah. I will be there tomorrow at Llewellyn.
Picked up a read.
Groves. You can come watch me answer the same questions I answer on our.
That's why my read was correct. My read was correct. Doug, we don't get invited to do that.
No, not at all.
Well, I remember we did do one. Me, you, and the cat were asked like a decade ago, and Gabe was also on the panel.
Yeah.
And within 2 minutes, it became clear to us and everyone in the audience that we had nothing,
Right.
and Gabe had all the answers. And we were just the nitwits sitting up front with Gabe.
Or eye candy, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's what we were.
Yeah.
Colonel, how do you watch the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? Do you watch it? I mean, I know your boys are older now, so it's not like you got little kids running
on
around
my
like
television?
I do. Well, don't be a smart-ass Colonel. Like, do you watch it with the missus, or do you watch it with friends? Like, for example, we had a football franchise here a long time ago, and they played in the Super Bowl. And the first year I wanted to watch it by myself. Now the second year I was there because I'm so locked in. I don't want somebody interrupting it. So how do you handle it? I mean,
the first one I actually I drove and met my oldest son halfway, and we watched it at a bar in Omaha, at a Chiefs bar in Omaha. The last one and probably this one, I'll just watch at home with my wife. I'm not a fan of Super Bowl parties in general because I want to watch the game, and I don't want to be around a bunch of people that don't want to watch the game, and particularly if my team is involved. I don't want to be around a bunch of people that don't particularly know or care about the game and are just there for the 7-layer dip.
Oh. 7-layer dip. I didn't realize this. It happened to be on this weekend on the NFL Network, the Chiefs and 49ers one. I didn't remember this. Do you guys? I know Gabe does. I'm certain Gabe does. But the Chiefs were down 20-10 with like 5 minutes left in that one.
Yeah, I mean, I bet the live number on that was the Niners, minus 600 to win that. That was a great comeback.
Crap! I for whatever reason, I had forgotten that they were down by that much and had that comeback. Like I said, I'm sure every Chiefs fan and a lot of St. Louisans have adopted the Chiefs, but I didn't remember that at all. That's signature right there, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, but it was about 5 minutes left, right?
They made it 2017 with like 6-something left, but yeah. Yeah, it didn't look promising, so let's hope it's a little more breathe easy this weekend.
Because just on the surface, what was that, the 2019 Chiefs? 2019, right? 2019 season? That team, to me, on the surface, it seems like it's in another world than the 2019 49ers. But I mean, maybe I'm forgetting something. I guess it was about the 49ers defense.
Jimmy G.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You got that, and they didn't have McCaffrey at the time.
No. Shanahan's a good coach. Yeah. Kyle Shanahan coaches up.
Except for those challenges in the first quarter in Philly.
Yeah, that was a problem.
Colonel, good luck to your Chiefs, and fight Tiger, Doug. Fight for old Mizzou. Think about that.
That's what you do. Yeah.
Have a good one, guys.
There he is. That's the Colonel, Gabriel P. DeArman, brought to you by James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. Yeah, I just don't remember that Super Bowl, even though it was a handful of years ago. I don't know if I didn't watch it or what the hell was going on.
It was right before the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
So, things.
I think I was in St. Louis, though. I don't think I got down to, maybe, I don't know.
If the Chiefs win, I mean, obviously they're a long ways from the Patriots' status of a dynasty. But I mean, are they up there with the '90s Cowboys? You think is maybe the second or third best team of your lifetime with Andy Reid's regime?
No.
You don't think so?
Not at this moment. I also think that the reason why now this could be youth bias. I think sometimes we look at things nostalgically from our youth. But I'd go with the 1980s 49ers with Montana and Rice. I also think with the Cowboys, you have the Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, and then also there was some personality there with the Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Jones thing. Like it or not, it created a dynamic that maybe made it seem like it was more powerful and had more tenure to it, even though it really was kind of a supernova. It was 92, 93, 95. But they had those rivalries with the Packers and the 49ers that made it stand out. The Patriots, maybe I'm forgetting, but I feel like they just kind of had they would beat the Jets. They would beat the Ravens. They beat effing Blake Bortles,
Yeah, that's
there.
right.
I mean,
you guys had the party. I watched that at Hot Shots.
I mean, just bizarre. They didn't really have, at least in my recollection, they didn't really have like the 49ers and Cowboys had this battle that was rooted before I was around, that goes back to the Dwight Clark, known as the catch, which I still think is second to Ricky Pearl's catch. But the Chiefs, I don't view them in that category, but maybe I should. I don't see them that way.
Maybe a comparison would be, the Cardinals when they had, 4 or 5 NLCSs in a row and only had, 2 championships out of that?
Hey, they got a championship here. It would be, 2 of the last 4?
Right?
Which would be similar to, the New York Giants won in 08 and 12. And you don't necessarily think of them
but they've been
as,
to
a
5
dominant team.
AFC championships in a row, I think?
Yeah.
And that's getting in some, and that's a stacked conference. I mean, at least top heavy.
It absolutely is. I mean, right now with what you have with the Bills and the Bengals, I don't, because I view it kind of as the Patrick Mahomes show.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, look, he had no receivers last
week. Don't get me wrong, and Kelsey. I mean, it's
the
Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey, but it's not like there's an Emmitt Smith-like back.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, in the 49ers, he was forgotten, but God, he wasn't as good as Rice, of course. Doug, you know the receiver I'm thinking of with the 49ers? You're the only guy on the dais who could possibly come up with it.
I want to say Taylor. But
yes, that's it.
Yeah.
John Taylor.
Yeah.
And I think he caught the pass on the drive with the Bengals. I think Taylor caught it, not Rice.
Yeah, it seems right.
But he was just kind of a forgotten guy. I mean, with Irvin, there was Alvin Harper, if you remember him. But I mean, he was certainly the B guy in comparison to Irvin. But they just had so much, and they also had just this personality with him. So when you were going up against him, it felt super intimidating. I could be off the mark on this, but I feel like the Rams of 99, even offensively 2000, 2001, and 2003, I think at the moment, if you were to ask people who are of a certain age, they would put that team at a higher level than this Chiefs team. That's got nothing to do with the St. Louis, Kansas City thing. Couldn't care any less.
From a Hall of Famer standpoint, I don't think there will be any doubt, right?
But I mean, who knows how this plays out? Because the Chiefs are in the middle of it, and the Chiefs could rattle them off. I mean, the Rams missed. I mean, it goes without saying, we're bringing up the dead body here, but the Rams really missed an opportunity to rattle them off, because when you look at that offense, they truly could have done it. It would have been a hell of a series. I didn't get a chance to see that 30 for 30 last night. Anybody watch it on the Ravens?
No.
If the Rams could have gotten there with that offense, but terrible defense, and gone up against the 2000 Ravens instead of the Giants, Hakeem's fumble in New Orleans, oh my. Then I think they would have gone and played the Giants, who they beat 2 months earlier it wasn't MetLife Stadium, it was Giants Stadium at the time. I was at that game, and both Warner and Falk were hurt. So they beat the NFC champion Giants in New York with Trent Green and Justin Watson. So that just shows you how weak the Giants were that year.
Is that when the fumbles started happening for Kurt? Was it
no, that was 2003. I was at that game, too.
Oh, okay. But I feel like that was in New York, too, right?
It was.
Okay,
It was the opening season of the 2003 season, and then he was eventually benched, and then that became Bulger's team that lost to Steve Smith and the Panthers.
Yeah.
Jason Sehorn's athletic supporter. Doug, was that the 45-yard line, I think, where Steve
Something
Smith
like
emblazoned
that.
it?
Looking back, it's amazing how quick the trigger was on Warner, who'd led him to 2 Super Bowls.
Couldn't agree more.
He's hurt. Let's get rid of him.
Yep.
I mean, Mark did really well for a few years there. I mean, you didn't see a drop-off, and Kurt struggled in New York, and, obviously, in hindsight,
what a time that was. You weren't doing sports radio at that time. What a time that was for sports radio. And Morning Grind wasn't around at that time. What a time that was. That's like a Swope's Picks waiting to happen, but he'd have to talk to some of the people who were doing it at the time, because there was a religious element to that that was insane. And I was doing it. I'm only like 24 or 5, and I'm kind of sensing it, and it's this weird thing going on with. It was something else. I don't know how many people remember that, and then how many people were even doing it, but it was a weird deal. And it's not like Bulger was a heathen, but if you were really religious, you were Kurt
Team
Warner
Kurt.
through and well. And I'm like, well, Kurt Warner's the greatest guy in the world, and I'm a heathen, so I'm in a weird spot. But I think he's the greatest guy in the world. Yeah, you're right, Doug. And they pulled him. And then they brought him back in. They lost in week 17 to the Lions. And had they won, the Lions were garbage, as per usual, up until this year. And had they won that, they would have had the number 1 seed in the playoffs. And they lost to the Lions. I think they brought Warner in for a series, which was really weird, just to try to do it. But they said they were going to do it. And then that is why they wound up playing the Panthers, as opposed to whoever the Eagles wound up beating. And then I think the Eagles lost to the Panthers in the NFC Championship game. But the Rams lost to the Panthers in overtime with the Steve Smith. But that's where Mart sat on the football as opposed to go for it, and he was destroyed in New Orleans in February of 2002. He was never the same man. Never the same man after that Super Bowl.
That was the downfall. And then I guess they won one more against Seattle the following year, and then got crushed by Mike Vick.
I was at that one in Atlanta, too. And Vick just ran all
They were
over
only like a 500 team that year, though.
That's
weren't they?
correct.
Yeah.
And that was a time, that's another time. Boy, what a time. This is another Swope's Picks waiting to happen, where there was a war going on internally in the St. Louis sports media. You were either with the Rams being good or
tanking for draft picks.
Not that, but it was like this debate as to whether or not they're good. And it was a weird deal. That's where Jack Snow called into Kevin Slayton's show, and they argued about it, and that's where Jack Snow said, "You understand, rubber band?"
Oh, gosh. And there's actually some media brawling going on out there at Rams Park.
Oh, my God. Just unbelievable. This is like a cow pasture in the middle of the country. You guys got an NFL team? Oh, we fight each other. We argue whether or not the team's good. Oh, my God.
Well, we'll all be watching.
Yeah, we'll all be watching.
I'll take the Chiefs if you give Patrick Mahomes points. Come on. I mean, I love Jalen Hurts. By the way,
I have been underestimating the Eagles. Hey, Jackson, you called the Super Bowl. I mean, I realize it's chalky, but hey, you called it. Yeah. I was Bills and 49ers. So
I think that's what I would have gone with too. Yeah.
I've been on the Eagle bandwagon all year.
Have you really?
I'll stick with them.
Tip my cap.
Well, they started out. How many in a row they win at the beginning? 9 or 10.
Yeah. Lost to the Skins, yeah. Or I'm sorry, the Washington football team.
Thank you, and I will tweet at you.
Yeah, sorry,
my
apologies.
Try to get you
my apologies. But Jalen Hurts,
heard.
the way he handled the Tua situation, I got nothing but respect for. I mean, he handled that perfectly.
Yeah,
perfectly. And I love Pat Mahomes. I mean, how do you not like the guy? That was like a hockey player that last game, gutting that out.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a tough showing. So I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a good game. Should be.
James Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, 314-961-4800. Thank you, James.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, Jimbo.
And if you want to support the sponsors, also, if you have visibility to your company or place of business, commercial fire alarm panel and system, email fire@edf-rg.com, and they'll have a technician come out and provide a free evaluation of your system and offer the most competitive contract pricing in the market. You can also check them out anytime at edf-rg.com, the official commercial fire alarm services and solutions provider of TMA. EDF can handle all of your company's security and surveillance needs, from surveillance cameras to access card readers to facial recognition software and everything in between. It's engineered, designed facilities. And Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies, 314-889-0503.
Oh.
314-889-0503. That's Mark Hanna, Evergreen Wealth Strategies. Go online at evergreenstl.com. Doug, you recall during World War II, he would address the country. He was over in England, and there was time of great concern. It was the Blitzkrieg era, and he would get on the radio. And
this is Mark Hanna?
That's correct.
Yeah. I thought that was Franklin Roosevelt.
That was Churchill.
No, people think it's Winston Churchill. It's actually Mark Hanna.
I don't know that he's that old.
He would calm. Do you call him his native countrymen?
I don't. No.
Their fears.
I didn't think Hanna was born until like the 60s or 70s.
Omnipresent.
He's been around. He's Ben Button.
Yep. Okay.
Nothing to fear but fear himself.
Amen.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. Exactly what he said.
Fear himself.
Fear himself.
Perfect.
Fear has a pronoun?
Gabe DeArman, fear himself, an email today is the title of the segment.
I said nothing to fear but fear itself.
I think Buck Swope's going to pull up that audio. 314-889-0503 or go online at evergreenstl.com. Iggy, I know you were in the kitchen while we were talking about it, but were you in St. Louis? Door situation.
Doors ajar.
Well, if I let it shut by itself, it sounds like it just broke.
Were you in St. Louis during the Kurt Warner Mark Bolger thing, or were you in Springfield?
I was here.
Were you? Who were you producing for?
Maybe Frank.
I was on Frank's show.
Maybe Bernie.
Bernie.
Maybe the
I don't think Bernie
afternoon
was at
show.
KFNS.
I
don't know if Bernie would have been in 2003. But I was doing a show with Frank in 2003. Either way.
03. No, I was in.
Doug, where was Iggy producing?
I don't know the years.
I think I was just coming back from Springfield. I think I was at 920 or 1380.
920 didn't exist.
I think 1380.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Man. This is hilarious.
When you've been doing it for 31 years, you don't remember where you are, what time.
Well, the reason I ask is what I was telling these guys is it was one of the strangest times in St. Louis sports talk radio, as far as the on-air stuff, not the behind-the-scenes stuff, because the Warner Bolger thing was the most heated topic, and it had religious overtones, and it was
I remember that.
It was a really weird deal, and it got really hostile, and it was there and gone after a year. But a lot of people going forward either pulled for Kurt Warner no matter where he was, because they felt like he was wronged here because he was persecuted for being outspoken about his Christianity, or pulled for Mark Bolger because they didn't like that the people who were against or were for Kurt Warner would never cheer for Mark Bolger. It was just a really weird dynamic. And I don't know what the right answer would have been. I mean, Kurt Warner got right. I mean, hell, God, what was it, the 2008 season that he led the Cardinals to? They were seconds away, and a Santonio Holmes, probably about, God, I don't even know what he was in bounds by, the tips of his toes from leading the Cardinals to a Super Bowl against the Steelers. Kerry Davis was on that Steelers team. So I don't know if Warner still had it in him or he needed some time to get right. It's not like he killed it in New York, and he was the mentor for Eli Manning. I don't know.
I remember the first time the whole religion thing got brought up. We were playing, it was after the Super Bowl, and the media was playing a charity game against the Rams.
What kind of game? What? Softball?
Yeah, softball game. And, that's the one where I was playing second base, and I threw an underhand ball to Claiborne, and he dropped it.
Oh, nice play by you, though.
I hope somebody tells Claibs about
that. But I remember after the game, Kurt was signing a bunch of autographs, and I think that's when he starts signing at Kurt Warner and whatever, John 3:16 or whatever he put on that. And I heard people afterwards just complaining that he ruined the autograph by putting the religious stuff on there. I'm like, really? He took a lot of flack for that. People didn't want that on their autograph. So that's when I knew the religion thing was starting to upset some people.
Well, if that's his autograph, that's his autograph.
Yeah, he can sign it however he wants to sign it.
Yeah, I know, but he never signed that before. But then he started signing it John 3:16 or whatever he was putting on there with it. Little proverbs, and people thought it ruined the autograph. I don't want religion on my autograph.
I think his stock as a quarterback took a big hit in that game in New York where he clearly had a concussion and he was just throwing the ball anywhere. And you could see that he's not right. Get him out. And he made a number of just
6
fumbles.
Now I still can remember. I think I can remember the stat line, which is very strange. I think he threw 54 times, 34, 54. And if this is right, I'm going to bet an eighth of my bankroll just because I'm getting plus 7,000 on it, since it's a stat line from 20 years ago. But I remember being in the tunnel at Giant Stadium as he was walking off the field, and I go, "Oh my, he doesn't look like he's right." Now this is after the game.
You could tell just watching him play.
He doesn't look like he's right.
Yeah.
And that was, do you remember this? Can we tell old KMOV stories? So Steve Savard was the Rams broadcaster, and he flies back with a team. I stay in New York, and I do a live shot from, I think it was the top of WCBS and on the west side of Manhattan, and I made reference to what was a Fox Sports headline. And the headline in big print was Martz the Moron.
Yeah.
And it was criticizing Martz for, that was the headline, like on the front page of the site, for leaving Warner in. Because at the time, the Rams were still kind of this glamour team, and they were playing the Giants. They weren't playing like the Panthers or something like that, so it's a big name team. And Steve scolded me for citing the headline, and I'm just sitting there
on the air.
On the air, yeah. I'm just sitting there in the the double box, where the hell you call it. I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to say here. I mean, I'm like, I didn't call him a moron. The headline, my point was, but whatever. I still like Steve. It's nothing against him. But I remember my photographer, he pulls out his earpiece, goes, "Man, I can't believe he just did that. I'm going to call him right now and tell him he was out of line." I'm like, and then it became that was another St. Louis media moment. What do we have, Jackson?
Kurt Warner threw it 54 times in that game.
Yes.
Was sacked 6 times. Threw a pick. It doesn't say how many fumbles he had.
What about the completions? I had 34-54.
Yeah, that's money.
I remember him throwing just passes you'd never seen him throw before, not close to receivers.
And 6 fumbles.
It didn't.
6 fumbles?
Yeah. He also had a broken little finger for a while. But it didn't take an NFL expert to see that, hey, your quarterback's not right.
And then Bulger came in after that. I think Bulger then started week 2. I think. I mean, I know we can find that information.
Let's find out. Yeah. They played the Niners. It was a W, 3-point win. And the starting quarterback was Mark Bulger.
Yeah, and he was very good. He was a Pro Bowler himself back when it actually meant something, when they played the game. He was MVP of the Pro Bowl one year. He was very good.
I've forgotten in that Super Bowl that they lost to the Patriots on the last-second field goal.
You forgot that?
No, what I forgot is that I was, for some reason, something popped up on my phone, and I start watching these videos and they pop up. And they showed Brady getting the ball like the 18, 20-yard line, and John Madden saying, well, they should just take a knee here and get to overtime. No use doing anything stupid. And then they're driving down the field. Well, they proved me wrong.
There were 2 plays, if you go back and you want to torture yourself and watch that. Leonard Little's hand, I mean, it's like the ball goes through his hand on, I think, the first pass. One of the first passes of that drive. And then I think J.R. Redmond. I mean, when you look at the Patriots roster, you go, how in the hell did that team beat that Rams team, which is full of Hall of Famers, especially their backfield? It was like, I mean, Antoine Smith, J.R. Redmond, Kevin Falk. I mean, these are just not. But J.R. Redmond, and I think he was able to get out of bounds or something like that.
Yeah, with like 24 seconds left. He caught like 3 balls out of the back.
J.R. Redmond did? I mean, I remember him out of Arizona State. Either way, it was just, Madden was saying you got to kneel on the ball because the Rams had all the momentum. And when Martin Kilcoyne was in here, he said, I still think that if they win that game, the trajectory of St. Louis professional football and that team would have changed. And I share that opinion. Of course, there's no way to ever know. But, whether or not St. Louis would have been on board, Martz never loses his mind. You don't have the civil war that would later take place between Zygmunt, Army, and Martz, and the distrust that went on. And the 2002 season was an absolute disaster. So, yeah, man. Yeah, Madden was telling him to sit on the football with a minute 20. And, because Tom Brady wasn't considered Tom Brady at that time. He was just kind of a guy. Yeah. There was a debate up until a couple days before that Super Bowl as to whether or not Brady or Bledsoe had started. Because Brady got hurt against the Steelers. I mean, the Patriots had to win in Pittsburgh to get to the Super Bowl, and they had to do it with Brady getting hurt, and Bledsoe came in and replaced him. Fun facts for no and tell.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk more about it on Balloon Party.
Okay.
I'm trying to get into an email, and I'm buying time, and I just
Back to you, Steve.
I'm going to bring up recent news. I don't know why that popped up on my phone, but I started watching.
What bothered me was Vinatieri kicked the winning field goal with about a minute and a half left, and they just let the clock run out.
You're 100% right. They did. I mean, again, I think Yo Murphy would have returned it, but there should have been about 3 seconds left.
Yeah, they just let it run. Well, that's such a nice ending. Let's just let it.
I noticed that. I was thinking, I don't remember the Rams getting the ball back.
They didn't. And they actually, about 2 months later, I remember anchoring it on Channel 4, and they put a rule in that the max number of seconds a field goal could kick off was like 5 going forward, because I think there were 7 when he kicked it, and it just went. Yeah. They just kept letting it, because like you said, it's a nice ending.
Beautiful ending. Yeah.
Yeah, we see some laterals here, and I thought that's what happened. Then he went through the uprights at 3, and it goes 2, 1. Wait, the clock, why didn't it stop?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. Hey! I've been on the Eagles bandwagon all year, because my lover has been on the Eagles bandwagon all year. We've had our troubles, but just like Winston Churchill said, the most 7 important words in the English language: never give up, never ever give up, and I'm not about to give up that solid shaft wrapped up in those khakis.
What?
That's from a lady. First name is Mona, and the last name is Lot.
Mona Lot. She's new.
Meh. The soccer jerseys are pink.
Yeah, they are. I saw them in Rally House this weekend. They're pink.
Plowhawk, do you still think the soccer jerseys are pink?
Yeah, it's pink lemonade with a lime or a lemon rim.
I didn't see any yellow at all on the jerseys that they're selling.
One little
any of it. There's navy blue. There's
Put
pink.
a caution tape sash on it and call it a day.
Again, STL City. I'll wear one. I'm not paying $160 for it, though.
So you're telling him to deliver you a free jersey?
Yep.
And how would that help?
It's a T-shirt, Doug. They're $160 for basically T-shirts with and it's not a jersey. Sorry, I'm done.
You feeling any better? You sound ghastly.
Terrible now.
Meh, the soccer jerseys are pink. Meh, DeWallet doesn't care about winning. Meh, Pareko is sharp and soft. Where, oh, where was our happy plow gone? Like day holes turn to night holes, the happy-go-lucky plowboy turns to Darren Plowlowski when any St. Louis sports team is brought up. Travis Ford is done. Drink is a clown. Battlehawks are a joke. The only St. Louis sports figure who has yet to be scorched by the flaming hot takes has been Dennis Gates. I fear what began as poking the bear occasionally on Tiger Board or Blues Lounge is causing a disassociative identity enjoyed only by 101 listeners and that one Jamaican that couldn't wait to watch Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless. Don't become what you hate, Plowsy, unless, of course, it makes you millions. Then let them takes fly, sweet prince. Again, I'm enjoying the show. That's from number 16, Kenny Wu.
Woo, 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 Kenny Wu.
I'm an Illinois fan, so why would I cheer for Mizzou?
There you go.
What up?
Well, you can be fans of both, really.
Sam removed his sports bra to reveal his plump and juicy Roderick's.
Oh,
the slightest whisper of moisture dripped from his right breast, so I wiped away his excess sweat. I stared at his rack and only muttered one single word. Supple. I audibly moaned to myself. I was visibly aroused and leaned in for a kiss, but when Sam stopped me and said, I can't get frisky right now. I'm late for my weekend job where I interrupt funny talk radio segments that people want to hear so I can fulfill my extremely sad fantasy by playing outdated and unwanted Hoosier music.
Oh.
I passionately replied, you're always working. I appreciate you stopped hosting your 10-minute daily podcast about pubes, but you still put in 3 hours of work per day. And now you want to interrupt the Sinbad interview to play all the unnecessary songs that nobody asked for on the weekends, too? Don't you want to stay here and experience a hole such as this? And that's the story of the time I canceled my boys' trip to the Smoky Mountains so I could spend more time with Sam. Doug, that's from the JV Golf Coach.
Sure it is. JV Golf Coach.
I know a lot about editing best of TMA content, and it's great. How's Darren Atkins? We gonna bring that back? How about that whole deal? My favorite part of Plowsy's explanation of why he programs the 3 most recent shows to play on repeat is that he doesn't want to burn through the 600-plus segments of best of programming as if there would be dire consequences if we quote-unquote ran out. It's like we're stranded on a desert island with 600 gallons of drinking water that has to be carefully rationed and forcing us to drink our own urine on the weekends. Never mind that, Iggy is here to save the day. No, not by pitching in and helping edit more best-of segments or programming the automation for the weekends and off days, but by volunteering to come in on Saturdays and play music that most of the audience doesn't want to hear. Personally, I would enjoy it, but most TMA listeners would rather just hear the Sinbad interview for the 30th time than hear Iggy cram 50-year-old songs down their throats. It's a moot point anyway because Iggy doesn't know how to run the board and certainly wouldn't accept any help from KG at O-Town. Iggy did express some interest in learning to run the board himself because it might open the door to him getting to fill in on Keishi, his lifelong dream that he could have fulfilled in November if not for wanting to sleep in and make an afternoon of it at the masturbation station. Since we're discussing prizes that never got delivered, next time Iggy slides into Brian Gross's DMs to beg for a new AVN category for media members, can you please ask about my autographed Maitland Ward book? That's from Buck Swope.
Oh, gosh. Buck Swope with a nice little email.
And finally, hello, as a first-year birthing coach, I'm not going to pick the low-hanging fruit of pointing out just how poor today's performance was. A lesser coach might question the start to the show where Plowsy confusingly explained his illness and his treatment plan as, quote, not quite for sure, but this is something I like to call a virus. Could be major, could be minor, might have to wear a mask, but I'm just going to power through these blueberries and pump the simple sugars to combat this thing I like to call a virus, because that's what the body needs. Someone less focused on the good parts of your show might be tempted to fast forward through the abrupt hijacking Iggy felt compelled to blurt out in perfect 3-act story arc structure smack dab in the middle of a live read, which went like this. I like shopping. I used Instacart during COVID. Like I said, I like shopping. So grocery shopping is something I like. I simply don't think it's productive to pay mind to the prizes that are habitually not sent out to the loyal supporters of your show because Rick was mistakenly too busy snorting nose beers and dancing with himself near the vending machine where Plowsy banged his gal. It wouldn't be my style to second-guess your shockingly strategic approach of admonishing the listeners after they harped on and on and on about their displeasure for the Sinbad All-Day app.
Come on, bro.
Playing the same 2 segments on a loop for 72 hours straight. What I think is important to zero in on what you did right. For a second time, you made the audience glaringly aware that the unfinished golf video that you've broken down for 9 months in excruciating fashion, hole by nauseating hole, is finished, pending some finishing touches that haven't been completed in a couple hours worth of work on final edits and graphics and then rendering. But it's basically finished. It might be out in the next month or 2. So feather in your cap, boys. I think we can all agree that hanging your hats on something you didn't do that isn't quite done is something worthy of being celebrated. So good on you. Thanks. Where do I book my sound story with Ashley Martin? Doug, that's what we have for the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today. What you got?
I'll go with Where Do I Book My Sound Story with Ashley Martin.
Was that the name?
That's correct.
Oh, I thought they were asking a question. Yeah, I like Ashley Martin.
There you go. Ashley Martin is shipped. The Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today. Jackson and I are a minute into Balloon Party, yet we're down. Here we got to go. Bye.
All right.
Urban Dictionary defines thirsty as purposely, knowingly, and recklessly attempting to gain fame to boost self-esteem. So, are you thirsty? Well, TMA has you covered. Become a part of the 2023